Where are the low-value men?
The hijacker's passport was found blocks from the World Trade Center crash site. You can believe that, you can believe that, you can believe that.
Contracted COVID, but says with a mixture of medicines, including the controversial horse dewormer that has poisoned hundreds of people nationwide, he's now recovered.
He was the best guy around.
What about the people he murdered?
What murder?
From the headlines to the whisper start. Low value mail. Low value mail at 9 o'clock. Where truth and fiction take a walk.
Why don't you swear on the Bible that you walked on the moon? You're a coward and a liar and a thief.
Our stories are.
Welcome back, everybody, to an all-new episode of Low Value Mail on this Monday, June 22nd, 2026, the year of our Lord. It's episode number 189. Welcome back, Scroats. Shout out to Tapes for the Unc Alert. I don't know what that... I guess I'm an Unc. It's devastating news to find out you're an Unc, but... probably checks out. I guess I'm an Unc. Shout out to Tapes. We hung out in, can't even remember what city that would have been. I don't know. I can't remember. Now that I have to think. No, it wasn't Charlotte. Tapes, help me out. I don't remember. No, where the fuck was I? Atlanta. That's it. Hot Atlanta. That's right. Anyways, welcome back, everybody. As always, there is a priority Patreon number for those of you that would like to support the show. U.S. and Canada number. I'm still working on the U.K. number. I apologize. Zoom is a fucking nightmare. They just will not help me with this for whatever reason. Tomorrow, actually, it might be Wednesday morning now. I'm going to be doing episode number 4 of my Not Financial Advice live stream. I'll keep everybody posted. If you've missed it, I'm basically taking the money that I get from Patreon every month, putting in a Robinhood account and gambling on options. So far, not going well. I think we're down to maybe a couple $100. You got to stay away from those 0-day options. Those are just too degenerate. Although we're going to take some time and make some rules, because I think I need some rules. I need some discipline and some rules so that I do not incinerate all the money that I get from the Scroats. And yeah, so if you want to sign up for the Patreon, patreon.com/lowvaluemail, all the money goes to degenerate gambling. You also get our little live chat that we have, a little group chat, ad-free audio. There's a Discord. There's like a second Discord now, apparently. Multiple Discords. And yeah, the more you sign up, the more money we have to gamble with. And so far, kind of just lose. All right. Let's get to the show. And of course, the phone lines will be open very shortly. We have Gerard, the greatest producer the show has ever known. Gerard. All right. So, I don't think we've talked about COVID. COVID is kind of in the rear view mirror. It's kind of back momentarily. COVID justice, I guess you could say, or some forms of COVID justice. Do we care about COVID anymore? I know some people, their whole identity is still COVID. But so I'm sure many of you have seen this, but on her last day as head of DNI, Tulsi Gabbard put out this tweet, which now has 45 million impressions. She writes, "Today, on my final day as Director of National Intelligence, I'm releasing never-before-seen communications and documents exposing how Dr. Fauci provided millions in U.S. taxpayer dollars to fund dangerous gain-of-function research at the Wuhan lab, worked with politicized elements within the intelligence community to suppress the truth about his actions and hide the virus lab leak origins, and lied to Congress while under oath in 2024. It's time you know the truth." Didn't we all know that? Am I missing something? I feel like at least everybody who's watching this show on YouTube and probably on Rumble, shout out to everybody watching over on Rumble, I do think we all knew this. I don't know if I'm speaking out of turn here, but is any of this new to you? There are some added details, I guess, some specifics, but I do believe it's just a lot of the same shit. So, Fauci can't. These are the wins that the COVID folks have got. Essentially, Fauci still can't show his face in public. He just dropped off the face of the earth, which is a big departure from people literally getting his fucking face tattooed on them during COVID, myself included. Embarrassing. Yep. Planning on getting it covered up. Just not sure what I'm going to cover it up with yet. I don't know. He also, I think most importantly to this whole thing, we received a pardon, a last-minute pardon from Joe Biden, which I would think protects him from any kind of prosecution. I'll be honest, I haven't dug into the details of his pardon, but I mean, Joe Biden was giving people just absolute blanket pardons, so I assume the Fauchmeister got one too. Even if there was, let's just say there was a loophole to charge him with something. They're not going to do it. But I think absolute best case scenario, I think he has a pension he makes like $400,000 a year from. I think maybe best case scenario is the pension goes away. I mean, he's probably got so much fucking money where his pension is probably, just his walking around money. So I don't think it really even matters. But I think that's maybe the best case scenario is maybe they go, you know what? We're not going to pay you your $400,000 a year pension. Rand Paul actually just subpoenaed Fauci to testify in front of the Senate Homeland Security and Governmental Affairs Committee next month. Apparently he was scheduled to come, and then Gabbard released this thing, and then he declined. He goes, "I'm not coming now." And then they're like, "All right, we're just going to subpoena you." Now he's probably just going to plead the Fifth Amendment the entire time. It's going to be a total waste. I guess we'll get to see him again, though. Wonder what he looks like now. Probably the same. Probably just the same, but grayer would be my guess. And look, at least Rand Paul's trying to do something about this. But I don't know about you guys, but I'm not thinking anything comes of this at all. Like zero. I mean, my probably conspiratorial take on this is, because I know a lot of you complain, Danny, you don't talk about conspiracies enough. Which, look, I have open phone lines on this show. If you have any good conspiracies, I'm open to hearing them at any time. They don't need to be on topic. I prefer them not to be on topic. I mean, we don't even really have topics on this show. But if you have a conspiracy, let's hear them. I feel like we've kind of all done them. We've kind of gone through them all on this show. It's like, and most of them are just like, can you believe the government lies to us? You're like, yeah, I actually can believe that. I do believe it. I do believe it is their policy to lie to us. But, my most conspiratorial take on this entire thing, which was an actual conspiracy, by the way. He was literally telling the CIA, basically giving them talking points about what to tell the public about COVID. Remember the different time that was, where if you just went on Twitter, Jack Dorsey Twitter, and you said that COVID came from a lab, they just kicked you off of Twitter. That was it. They just go, hey, you can't say that. First off, I understand, like, a lot of, like, the YouTube stuff was, they're like, this is public health. We're talking about a public health issue. So, we don't want someone taking, like, hydroxychloroquine when they're sick because it doesn't work. And at least they could pretend they're like, we care about people's health, and the misinformation could harm people, which really, who gives a shit? This is America, okay? If you want to go do something stupid that adversely affects your health, it is your literal God-given right to do so. Right? You should be allowed to do that. But they were just like, yeah, I think this came from a lab. You're like, how's that a health issue? This is just, hey, this thing that's affecting every person on Earth. We're trying to figure out where this came from. And they're like, yeah, well, don't figure too much, otherwise you get kicked off of Twitter. But my idea here is just Trump's approval ratings probably need a bump. They know Fauci's not going to be punished in any way whatsoever, but it'll be a spectacle. It'll definitely be in the news. It'll be front page news. Fauci, is getting grilled for I don't know how many times he's already been grilled by the Senate or Congress or whatever. And it'll just get people talking about this and not that clusterfuck in Iran. That's my guess. 45 million views on this tweet. Not one story from any sort of left-leaning mainstream media. The New York Post covered it. The Jew York Post, if you know, you know. That's it, though. Nobody even gives a shit. Now, again, they're probably like, if you're CNN, you're like, yeah, we don't want to really rehash this stuff. We kind of were complicit in this whole kind of stuff the whole time, so we're going to kind of pretend like this didn't happen. The Washington Post, however, did put out an interesting piece yesterday. This is related but pretty unrelated, implying that Tulsi Gabbard is in some Hare Krishna cult that she's been in since she was a child. Her parents were high up in this Hawaiian Hare Krishna. I guess she's a Hindu. Hare Krishna are those annoying people you see at like the train station. I don't know if they have. I thought they were gone. I thought that was like a thing from the 90s, but I do occasionally see them in New York City. So they're still kicking around. But Tulsi Gabbard is in this Hare Krishna cult, and that there's this leader of the cult, this white guy, this old white guy, and he's basically been using her to influence U.S. politics. And you know what? It's an interesting read. There are some things where you kind of go, huh. They did some real some digging, and they were like, yeah, he told her, he said this thing in an email, and then she said it on Fox News. So obviously he tells her what to do. Nothing about the Fauci stuff, though. We skipped that. So nothing's going to happen. You guys can tell me. Maybe you think something's going to happen. I don't know. We got a super chat. This is from Jared. He says, I'm upgrading my Patreon, being I canceled the YouTube. Do the same, you Jews. Good man, Jared. Good man, Jared. Jared, destroyer of comedians. Jared's one of the few hecklers who has ever won an interaction. Good for him. I want to talk. I got a couple more things I want to talk about, and then we're going to open up the phone lines. Of course, the number. You know what? I'll just open them now. I'll open them right now. 1-347-391-6995. There's also, as mentioned, priority Patreon lines, Canada, United States numbers, 2 different numbers. If you want to call in, you get Priority access. Anyways, the UK is doing they announced a ban on social media for anyone under 16. They're following Australia and doing what will likely become pretty common in most Western nations going forward. Canada, I believe, is doing something like this. And look, on paper, this does seem like a good idea. I don't know about you guys. I certainly could probably, even though this doesn't affect me in any way, this doesn't get me off social media. I wish. I mean, in some perverse way, I do some days wish that I don't want to get kicked off of social media. I just want it to be gone. I just want to wake up and they just go, it's just gone. I don't know what happened. They didn't pay their Spectrum bill. It's just over. But it seems like a good idea for kids. I don't think like a 12-year-old or a 13-year-old. Well, you know what? I have mixed feelings on this. I don't think a 13-year-old should be on Twitter or Instagram probably for their brains and stuff. Not the best idea. But YouTube is full of educational content. I mean, whenever I don't know how to do something around the house, it's the first place I go. Go to YouTube. I go, hey, how do you hard boil an egg? And then there's some dude on there who is a genius, by the way, because 15 years ago, he made a video about how to hard boil an egg. And he's probably made $200,000 off of that video because probably gets searched 50,000 times a day. I actually had an ex of mine. She was a bartender in Toronto, and one of her regulars was this guy, and he was obscenely wealthy. And the reason he was obscenely wealthy was because when YouTube started, he just made like 500 videos of like how to screw a screw, how to hard boil an egg, like just the most basic stuff you could ever think of. He just made a video for every single thing. And you'd be surprised. People search that shit all the time. And so, you know, if you're struggling, there's opportunities everywhere to make generational wealth. But so, look, most kids are probably smart enough to circumvent this whole age thing. Apparently in Australia, 7 out of 10 kids under 16 have managed to get around it. Now, the main issue here, which I'm sure they know about, I'm sure you guys kind of know about, is that everybody, even if you're over 16, you're going to have to prove that you are over 16, which means truly anonymous social media accounts in those countries will cease to exist, right? They apparently have, like, even, you know, they have some sort of facial recognition thing, which is the least intrusive of all the things, basically. That's the one where you just take a picture and it just kind of estimates your age, which you would think with a little makeup, some prosthetics, you could kind of get around it. I don't know how good it is, but that's the least intrusive option they have. That's not giving your credit card or your ID. That's just they take a picture and they guesstimate. You obviously get permanently logged into a government database. But that is the least intrusive option they have. And of course, they do it under the guise that it's for the protection of the children, which is smart. I mean, anything you want to get past, any sort of restrictive law, anything, you just go, what, you hate kids? Is that, you actually hate kids? Because we're just doing this for the kids. And you know what? Maybe this won't even matter that much. It maybe won't matter. And by the way, before you wonder if this is, you know, coming to the U.S., because sometimes the U.S. seems like, nah, we're not doing that gay shit here. Right? And I'm sorry I said that during Pride Month. Right? But apparently Congress will be unveiling a Protecting Kids Against Online Harms bill this Monday. So whether it passes is a different story, but they're doing it here too. And again, maybe it won't matter because I don't know if you know this, but the internet just hit a milestone as there are officially more bots than people. And you can only imagine that that gap will continue to widen. So we're probably 5 years out from it's about a 1-to-1 ratio, slightly higher, bots to actual people. It's going to be 1,000-to-1, probably. It's just going to be an internet of bots. Like, you have to think, how hard is it to make a bot? These things are like self-replicating. It's all you're doing is it's the cost of electricity, essentially. And these things, these personal AI agents, like, you just go, hey, go spin me up 4 million bots. And it goes, done. Be done by the end of the day. People have been pushing this whole dead internet theory, specifically, if you don't know it, where the overwhelming majority of online content, engagement, and interactions are now generated and maintained by bots, algorithms, and artificial intelligence rather than real people. And it sounds like it's probably pretty likely. I don't even know if it's a theory anymore. Once you pass the 1-to-1 threshold, you're like, is it a theory? It seems like it's only going in one direction. It does make me think, and you guys should probably have this same question to yourself. Is like, how often am I interacting with bots that I think are people on the internet? Like, I think I have a pretty good eye for bots, but maybe like there's like the old school bots where it's just like a hot chick saying some nonsense. Maybe they're like so advanced now where we're interacting with these things, don't even know it. Which, again, what that means for us, I don't know. We might actually just have to start leaving the house more, which is not a great option. Not a great option. Okay, I'm going to talk about one more thing, and then we're going to open the phone lines. The phone lines are already open. What am I saying? Case of the Mondays. Even though it's 7:20 p.m., I've been up for 10 hours already. So there's some bad news out of Canada today. I don't know if you guys saw this. A man from Alberta. This is all preliminary. This only happened in the last few hours. A man from Alberta, dressed in fatigues, drove to Montreal for some reason. I'm sure we're going to get more clarity on this. I probably will be getting some details wrong, especially if you watch this later in the week. There'll probably be a lot. This later in the week none of what I'm saying could be true. Because this is all very preliminary. But so this guy goes to Montreal. He calls the police to say, I think there was like a shooting or something. So all these police officers show up. Then he starts shooting at them. There's a video, on a very unfortunate video, that you can see a police officer gets killed. Then there's a female police officer who kills a civilian. Now, I'm seeing a lot of people using this to shit on female cops. And look, I'm not like some guy who goes, yeah, female cops just as good as a guy. Obviously not. Okay. But I'm kind of on her side with this one in a weird way, because she's like crouched behind this planter. There's the guy, the shooter, on like the other side of it. And then there was some guy who's like, just unfortunately, like I watched the video and I was trying to think about it. I'm like, what would I have done in this guy's scenario? Like, this guy probably dead either way. Although it seemed like the shooter wanted to specifically kill police officers, because there's like some random old man standing there and he just lets him go. Like, he seemed like he was specifically wanting to kill police officers. Obviously the civilian who got killed couldn't have known this, right? But so he's kind of hiding like around this corner, and I guess there's like a little lull as the guy is loading his gun. The guy stands up and literally walks up to this police officer, but like around a corner. The police officer sees him and just fucking unloads on this dude, this poor dude. Apparently he's actually, again, conflicting reports. I've actually saw one thing where they say he's not dead, he's in hospital. Some people are saying he's dead. But I'm like, man, you're in the middle of a firefight and you just blindly turn a corner on a cop. I'm like, I think anybody would have shot him. But also, I'm like, what was that guy supposed to do? I guess he could crawl out of there, wave a white flag. I don't know what he was supposed to do. They're saying he was an incel, a Canadian incel. He wrote a whole incel manifesto. Wasn't very fond of capitalism or feminism or pornography. Sounded like he didn't like the Jews, is what it sounds like to moi. Now, the only thing I'll say to this, and I've said this before, this is probably one of the things that I will, if I had to bet the farm on this, is we're so getting censorship coming back. This period that we've had, this fun we've had, just enjoy the moment, guys and gals. Enjoy the moment, because it's not going to last. I just can't see, especially in Canada. Now I guarantee Canada, even though it has insanely restrictive gun laws, they're going to be like, all right, new gun laws, new laws on incels. I mean, we had kind of Canada, not to toot our own horn. We had kind of like I don't know if he was no, he wasn't the OG incel. Who is the OG incel? That like kind of half Asian kid. I'm sure you guys all know who I'm talking about. Who killed like a bunch of sorority chicks. But we had that Alec Manassian kid who was also an incel, and he rented the panel van and drove it on Yonge Street. So, anyways, censorship is returning. The mustache says the guy who got shot was a rabbi. Yeah, I think he was. I saw something like that. He's a rabbi, but he's still alive. Or maybe he's not. I don't know. But unfortunate. Elliot Rogers, of course, you guys know. All right. We're going to get to the phone lines. Again, if you want to join the list of very important scrotes, a.k.a. the Scrote Wall of Fame for the show, you can join the $10 tier here on Patreon preferred. YouTube takes so much of the money. It's actually insane. And if you're already a member, you can upgrade. And you get ad-free audio, access to a group chat. Now these DGen streams where I'm just going to lose all the money. So trying not to, though. I'm telling you, I'm going to turn it around at some point. It was really a timing issue. I started this right when the markets were so hot, and I was going long, and it just didn't work out. Also, if you don't have any money, that's totally cool, too. You can support the show without money. You can like the stream. You can share this with a friend. You can leave a comment. You can subscribe to my channel. Somehow still do not have 10,000 subscribers on this channel. Mind-boggling. Or follow on Spotify. And I have a few more dates coming up. Tacoma, Spokane, Atlantic City. You can get tickets at DannyComedy.com or www.punchup.live/DannyPolishuk. And I'll have some more coming for the fall. All right. Let's get to the phone lines. Oh, you know what? Well, I'm going to talk to a fellow because he had a very viral clip last week, which was interesting. A lot of very contentious. Pilot Dave, how you doing, pal?
What's up, buddy? How you doing, man?
I'm very well. I posted your clip. I don't know if you saw it on my Instagram.
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay. So it has like, let me see. It has 534,000 views. We were talking about helicopters.
Crazy.
And it's you. I mean, my guess is you know what you're talking about, but then it's also like the internet. So then there's all these people who are like, this guy doesn't fucking know what he's talking about. You were talking about
all right, first of all, dude.
Yeah, go ahead.
First of all, I'm a bot. Okay. Secondly,
you're also a bot.
Those are
okay.
bots. Those are bots responding to me. So
so I looked into some of them.
You're actually in a dream fucking sequence right now, dude. This is all fucking bot lore. Bot lore, dude.
But you know what? It was all like, and so I would look at some of their accounts. Like there was one guy who definitely was like in the military. He kind of was talking shit. I can't find him, but he was like definitely in the, like, you look at his page and it's all him just like kneeling in front of like U.S. military helicopters, and he was kind of talking shit. But then the top comment is, as a helicopter mechanic, I agree. Airframe cracks are typical. But then I guess it's just like everybody's opinion, and then half of them are bots.
Yeah, they're probably more than half bots, honestly, dude. So here's the thing, dude. Disclaimer: like, I'm not a fucking helicopter pilot. I don't pretend to know everything about helicopter pilots, but I know more people that I was in flight school with that died in helicopter crashes than I know fixed-wing pilots who have died in crashes. So
I mean, look, I know I've met in my life 2 people who have died in a helicopter crash. They died at the same time. But.
Yeah, dude. Like, helicopters are just inherently more dangerous. And that dude Jason that called in after me last week, he's right. He made a couple corrections to my statement about they're inherently more dangerous, not just because they vibrate themselves to fucking pieces, And yes, there are some very old helicopters. I mean, there's old Soviet helicopters still flying around, like the fucking the Hind and all those. But I guess what I was referring to is like reciprocating engine type helicopters, like that have like a fucking internal combustion engine. Those tend to vibrate themselves up to pieces a little faster than like jet powered helicopters. But the reality is like there's still harmonic imbalances that happen with helicopters that just cause them to fail sooner than airplanes. But really why they're more inherently dangerous is specifically because of the aerodynamics and all of the associated complexities with it. Like
it's
they're
just like less.
they
margin
demand
for
more
error.
attention.
Yeah, just like lower
Yeah,
margin
exactly.
for
Just
error.
like we talked about last week. But
yes,
but,
we don't need to
yeah,
turn
well,
this
that's
into
crazy.
a
That's funny you
full-blown
got somebody-
aviation podcast.
For sure, dude. Yeah, and that's not what I wanted to even talk about.
Sure.
But speaking of aviation, dude, I was cruising from Seattle to I'm down in Dallas Fort Worth right now, and I was fucking looking out the window, dude, and we're like going over the like Denver area or some shit. I don't even know where it was, but I was looking down and the captain that I'm flying with right now, he's a good buddy of mine, and I go, dude, you know what I fucking miss, dude? And he's like, what? I go, I fucking miss crop circles, man. Like, whatever happened to those?
Yeah.
Like, that was the sickest of all conspiracies, dude. Like, I remember back in the 80s and 90s when I was a little kid watching fucking like 20 or 60 minutes or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And there was like, fucking aliens and shit. And it's like,
yeah, they kind of just
those
went
were the
away.
good old days, dude.
Didn't they kind of
Yeah, well,
debunk?
'cause-
Didn't they kind of debunk them? They just go, it was just like a bunch of farmers, and they just would like.
Yeah, I'm pretty
literally-
sure, dude.
It was just,
but
which I'm like,
that
why?
was because it's funny, dude. It's like that's the fucking old like, like I'm just gonna fucking troll everybody. That was like the old troll fucking way.
I
you know?
guess, yeah. You know what? It was just like you're kind of bored, and you're just like, yeah, it's just funny. Like I have the news show.
I mean, if you're a farmer, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're a farmer and it's not like time to fucking harvest your crop, then why not fuck with the entire country or the world on 60
look,
Minutes?
I think about this a lot, and we're, in my opinion, living in the worst era of conspiracies ever.
Yeah, it's fucking lame, dude. And conspiracies now are so gay. Like everybody has like a well-founded opinion on all their conspiracies, but they don't understand the first fucking thing about like I get guys coming up to me about like flat Earth and
chemtrails. I mean, they probably are just like think you're spraying the fucking whole planet in your planes.
Yeah, dude, it's the two biggest that I get from people, including my own friends and even family members, is chemtrails and flat Earth. And I'm like, dude, if you can't explain to me the first fucking thing, or even one singular thing about atmospheric science,
yeah,
or fucking angular geometry or arcing trajectories, then like I have nothing to fucking talk to you about.
Right.
And half the
I mean,
time I just know
that's
what
how
they
you
want to hear
lose.
anyway.
That's how you lose, though, is you engage them. It's like they force you to engage them.
Well, exactly, dude. Yeah, exactly. It's like there's literally there's no sense in having a conversation about it because it's not a conversation. All they want you to do is validate what they already have constructed in their own mind or read on fucking, Reddit or TikTok or whatever. And then they want you to be like part of that fucking, that chapter.
And they just want to be part of their little club, their little conspiracy
dude,
club.
well, I think it's more than that, dude. And I have like this, I've done a lot of thinking on this fucking thing. And I have this like hypothesis that like chemtrail, flat Earth people are the exact same thing as fucking middle-aged white chicks with crystals. It's the same shit, dude.
Yeah.
It's
probably
literally
pretty, yeah. You can't. There's no way to
what
disprove
it. Well, but there's not only is there no way to disprove it, but it's like this. It's this like way of placing themselves on a hierarchical, like self-constructed totem pole of enlightenment.
Yeah.
Where they're like, oh, look at all the esoteric fucking knowledge that I possess. And if you could only see the world through, like, if you could only if you could only lift the veil like I have and become enlightened like I have, then you would be up here with me. And really what it is a way of placing themselves above others.
Yeah.
It's like, it's chicks with their crystals that think they can fucking heal you, but they've never been able to actually do anything to embed, like improve.
And that's not. And the
their,
thing is there are obviously some. The thing is, like, there's obviously some real conspiracies. Some of them now, they're like, they just do it in front of our face.
Sure.
They're like, they're not even
100%
fun to it. They're just like, yeah, we're doing this. It's like, this is a criminal conspiracy. We're doing it, and talk about it all you want. Like,
and they're getting fucking lazy about it too. They're not even like trying to hide it or getting clever with it anymore. No. It's just like blatantly in front of your face. I'm not saying there's not conspiracy, but like what I am saying is that if you can't even tell me what fucking sublimation is, then don't fucking talk to me about chemtrails. If you don't understand like the correlation between those two things, most people don't. But if you can't, then you can't fucking come up to me and tell me that you know about chemtrails and I don't, even though like I have studied atmospheric science for literally my entire fucking adult life.
Once you say that to a chemtrail person, though, you go, you don't know what sublimation is, you've already lost.
I know. Well, that's the thing. I don't even argue with them or try to talk sense or even argue like science or the point. I go, yeah, dude. Like, I actually had this fucking gal come up to the flight deck years ago when I was a first officer at my very first airline, and she's like, I want to know about chemtrails. She came in super fucking aggressive and shit. And I was like, yeah, what do you want to know? And she goes, I paid good money for this ticket, and I'm not going to have you guys spreading chemtrails on my fucking dime, and blah, blah, blah. And I just looked at the captain. The captain looked at me, and he's like, oh, what the fuck? And I just go, no problem, ma'am. And I reached up and I flipped a fucking random switch that didn't have any power to it anyway, because like the plane was like not flying. And it was probably like the taxi light switch or some shit. And I go, they're off. And she's like, what? And I go, yeah, there's a switch for it. We just turn it off. You don't want it. We just leave it off for the whole flight. And she was like, what are you talking about? Yeah, I was like, yeah, just leave it off. And I actually I fucked with her even more, dude. I thought I was gonna fucking get like in trouble for it with management, but I took a piece of paper and I like wrote chemtrails on it and poked a hole through it, and then put that over a switch and wrote on and off. And then after the flight, after the flight was over, dude, I fucking told the flight attendant, I go, hey, that fucking crazy bitch that was like freaking out about chemtrails. She's like, yeah. I go, bring her up here after the flight's over. And she's like, okay. So we landed. I don't remember where we landed. Maybe it was like Boise or somewhere in Montana. And I go, hey, ma'am, I just wanted to let you know that we left those off the whole flight. And I pointed to the fucking piece of paper that I wrote chemtrails on that was over the switch. And she was like, what? And I go, yeah, I just want to let you know we left it off. And she was just like, oh my God, thank you so much. And I was like, what
dude,
the fuck?
She probably has like full-blown psychosis right now.
100%, dude. And
you know what I'm saying? It's like, because you
even further.
Yeah, you like reinforced her shit. So then now she probably like tells people about this, and people are like, what do you mean you saw the chemtrail switch in a commercial cockpit?
Yeah.
She's like, I saw it. I
dude,
talked to the pilot.
I will. I'll be honest. I'm not the first one that came up with the idea of doing this as a joke, but like I'm probably the first one that actually employed it and used it against the passenger who is like severely suffering from like chemtrail psychosis. But dude, I have a picture of it on my fucking Instagram. I'll fucking screenshot it and send it to you. You'll laugh your ass off, dude. Instagram. And I will, dude. And after the flight, the other thing was I told her, I go, hey, anytime you want the chemtrails off, you go straight into that flight deck, no matter what flight you're on, and you let those pilots know.
Yeah,
she's like, I can do that. I go, yeah. Don't even talk to the flight attendants. Just go to the flight deck. And she's like, okay, thank you. And the fucking captain looks at me. He's like, dude, you're such a dick. I go, yeah, I just bought that bitch a fucking lifetime of getting kicked off airplanes.
Oh yeah, she's probably at this point super banned from every airline.
Blacklisted, totally,
yeah,
dude.
She's probably
I'm
sure. A full no-fly list. That's funny though.
Yeah, dude, I've done the same thing with like flat Earth people. I actually came up with a really clever way of like showing people that are super low IQ like how they can like show other people that the Earth is actually flat. And then there was like one dude, he was actually like a gate agent. It was in Nashville, dude, like probably 4 years ago before I had heart surgery. And this fucking kid, he was like some Ethiopian kid. And he comes up to me, he's like, hey, fucking, he's like on duty in uniform in front of a whole boarding area full of passengers. And he goes, hey, the Earth is flat. I want to know about it. And I was like, what, dude? And the captain, funny enough, the guy I'm working on this trip with right now, he was actually the captain on that same flight. he looks at me and he goes, "Hey, Dave, I'm going to go ahead and do your walk around for you. You have fun up here." I go, "You're such a dick, dude. You don't fucking leave me up here with this guy." And so I kind of argued with the kid for a little bit, but he's like, "Well, I've never seen the curvature of the earth, so it's not real, blah, blah, blah," doing all that stuff. And I just go, "Hey, man, like, look, man, what it comes down to at the end of the day is, like, do you value being right over relationships?" It's like, that's really what it comes down to with anything. Because if you're going to get on this fucking, like, you're going to climb up this fucking mountain and place yourself on a pedestal of hierarchical importance where you possess this fucking esoteric knowledge that nobody else could possibly conceive except for you and a small subset of other people, then what you're going to do is you're going to fucking alienate all the relationships, all the friendships, and all the girlfriends that you ever have in your whole life. And that fucking bums me out because you're like a young looking dude who's, you know, handsome. You got your whole life ahead of you and shit. But like, do you want to be right about this thing that this lie that you bought into? And you can't even explain to me the first thing about minute of angle or milliradians or any kind of angular geometry, but the earth is fucking flat. And he goes, "Well, but blah, blah, blah." And I go, "Look, man, where's your family from?" And he goes, "Well, we're Ethiopian." And I was like, "That's where your heritage is from?" He's like, "Yeah." And I go, "You ever been there?" And he's like, "No." I was like, "You were raised here in Tennessee your whole life?" He's like, "Yeah." I go, "Well, I'll tell you what, man, fucking Ethiopia, it's not real."
Doesn't exist.
And he's just like, "What do you?" I go, "It doesn't exist. I've never seen it. It's not fucking real." I go, "Do you see how fucking stupid that sounds?"
I mean, I
And then I
imagine
just, like, walked out.
your flight plan factors in curvature of the earth in some capacity.
100% dude. Yeah, like we
dude. Here's the thing: you're a pilot, and like pilots are referenced very often. Commercial pilots are I don't even know why we're fucking talking about this, but they're referenced very often.
Because you have a conspiracy show, dude.
I guess, yeah. But like commercial pilots are referenced very often in the fact that like they obviously have to be in on the whole thing. So people who are like flat earthers right now are just like, yeah, of course you're saying this. Like you're in on it.
Of course, yeah. I'm part of it, yeah.
Like, I guess.
Like I don't have better things to do with my fucking time than like be part of a government conspiracy that actually accomplishes nothing for the government. And that's the big fucking question I have for everybody is like, everybody who's like the earth is flat. I'm like, besides it being a fun thing to sort of be a fist in the face of, you know, authority about or whatever, like, fuck you, the earth is flat. Like, it's just sort of fun to be on that bandwagon. Besides that, what is achieved by anyone? What is the greater fucking achievement by the government to lie to people and tell them the earth is round when it's actually not? Like, there's nothing to be gained from it. So it's like, I don't know, man, maybe just mass confusion, but like the reality is that I use actual verifiable math to navigate arcing trajectories. Right. And if I don't do that math correctly, then we don't totally fucking, right? Yeah, exactly. Like I physically cannot fly from fucking San Diego to New York City. It doesn't work like that. Not around a fucking arcing trajectory or without angular geometry. Also, by the way, the exact same fucking math that long-range distance precision shooters use to take their projectile from the end of their muzzle and place it up to a fucking mile away within a 5 by 5 foot square, which is the steel target. That math is the exact same math that we use in aviation to arc the airplane around the earth to get it to its fucking point, from the point of origin to the point of destination. It's just a different type of projectile.
Interesting.
But it's all the same math.
That makes sense. I think, I guess their whole thing is you're like, they're lying to us. And you're like, but we know they're lying to us. This would be one more thing they're lying to us about.
That's the problem about being a fucking liar is when you lie to people about everything, then nobody's going to believe you when you say anything. And so I don't blame people for being like, the earth is flat and chemtrails and, you know, crop circle, all that shit. Yeah. But all of it. Like, why would we fucking believe you on anything? And dude, really why I wanted to fucking even talk about it at all was because you brought up COVID. Like, that's the whole reason I fucking called. I'm still fucking pissed about that shit, dude.
Sure.
Like, I feel like sometimes I'm the only fucking...
Your heart thing, was that after I assume you probably had to get vaccinated to work.
Fuck no, dude.
You did not.
I had to, and I did not do it. And I'll fucking tell you this, bro. This is probably really stupid of me to say this out loud.
Don't say anything stupid.
Well, you know what? Yeah, well, just because I don't want to, like, compromise.
Don't dox yourself. Don't say, don't even, I mean, there's only like 5 airlines you could probably work at. Don't even give a hint of which one.
Well, there's more than that, but yeah, 5 that are worth working for. Yeah, that's probably true. Anyway, all right, so I'll say this, dude. Say it. Who?
What's that? I didn't, you cut out there.
You said you assume I work for who?
Oh, no, I don't know who, I assume you work for one of the, you know, whatever, 5 majors.
One of the 5, yeah. Yeah, I do. But anyway, dude, so, yeah, I'm not going to say it. Anyway, funny enough, you bring it up, the deal with the heart thing. So I had a full-on premonition one night, right? My company, which I will not name, was like the rest of them were like, you have a deadline, a hard deadline. And if everyone's not vaccinated by this time, you all fucking wholesale firing everyone. Problem is like, we're not flight attendants, we're pilots. Yeah. Flight attendants can just go from working at JCPenney's to working at Delta or United overnight. For a pilot, you work your entire fucking life to get to a major airline.
Hard to replace.
For me, it was hard to replace, but also very competitive, and it took me 14 years to get there. So I was there for less than a year, and they're like, hey, we're going to fire you if you don't fucking do this thing. And by the way, we're not your fucking medical doctors, but you have to do it anyway. And it just felt like, you know, like in high school when like some dude was like pushing drugs on you again. And I was like, dude, I'm pretty sure my fucking CEO is not my medical doctor, number one. Right. But number two, I was just like, I don't know, man. Like, I just don't think I can do this. Like, and I about ready to like throw away everything I've been working for the last 14 years of my fucking life for this. Like, I couldn't get my head around it. And I was like, who's going to take care of my elderly mother? You know, like my dad fucking passed away. And like, my sister, my dad's first adopted daughter, she fucking died from her vaccination. What? And I was just like, dude, she died 3 days after her booster shot.
What?
And they pulled this fucking rope. It was a blood clot that looked like a fucking rope out of her leg during the autopsy.
That's insane.
I wasn't there for the autopsy, obviously, but my brother was like, I've never fucking seen anything like it, dude.
Yeah. I've seen similar things, but yeah, that's insane. So you're just like, so how'd you get out of it?
I didn't, dude. My company was like, you either do it by this date or you're fucking fired. And I was like, well, I guess I'm fired then, because I'm not gonna like bend on my fucking, I'm not gonna get on my fucking knees and suck off my CEO just so that he can get government subsidies because he can like get a bonus for every employee that was vaccinated.
Right.
And I just decided to stick to my principles and throw it all away. And I was like, I'm gonna lose my fucking house over this. I'm gonna be homeless, like airline pilot one day, fucking living on the streets the next. Fucking right on, dude. But you know what? I also was like, I've been poor my entire life. And I know how to be poor. I'm really fucking good at it. And like, I'll just go back to that, but I'm not going to like sell my soul and, you know, do this. And lo and behold, the fucking day of the deadline, they fucking dropped the requirement.
That's crazy.
And yeah, because they knew, dude, they knew that they were getting it's illegal. They knew
Yeah, so many people have sued, like I know in New York, all these firefighters got fired, and because they're like, we're not taking it, and then they just got these huge settlements and their jobs back.
Yeah, and dude, all these corporations, maybe not all of them, but a lot of them, like my company, and I'm not even like shit talking my company. I'm very thankful to be working at the company that I do. It's a really good job, and they mostly take really good care of us, except for during COVID, and they knew that they could not survive the litigation in civil court. And so because they knew that, but they also wanted to be getting the fucking government kickbacks for every employee they could say was vaccinated. They just ran it all the way to the fucking deadline. And then 3 hours before the end of the business day, they were like, just kidding, we're dropping the whole thing. So they got all their money from the government, and they didn't have to stand tall in front of the man during the litigation, because they could then say, oh, we didn't actually force you to do it. We just told you you'd have to, but then we dropped it. So it wasn't actually a requirement. You could have just held out to the day of, but you made that choice on your own.
Yeah, I remember me and Ryan had a show somewhere during COVID, like in 2020, and we had some pilot, and he was like pretty based. And like literally over the intercom, he was just like shit talking all the COVID stuff. It was like something like you had to wear a mask. And he's like, I think is stupid, but you know, whatever. Like he was like saying that over the intercom, like basically this pilot being like, yeah, it's stupid rules and it's dumb, but you guys have to do it.
Yeah,
sorry.
there was, yep. Yeah. There was a lot of us that were doing that shit. But,
all right, I gotta let you go though. I just have a fucking ton of people on.
All right, well, dude, just to answer your question really quick.
Yeah, wrap it up.
About the heart thing, yeah. So, my thoracic surgeon, he asked me. He said, "Hey, did you get the vaccination?" And I said, "No." And he said, "Are you sure?" And I was like, "Yes, I think I would know." And he goes, "Well, it says in your charts here that you did." I go, "That's because I had to lie to my primary care specialist just for him to see me for my annual flight physical, because he wouldn't even fucking see me. He wouldn't even, and I was going to lose my job. I couldn't fly if I don't maintain my annual flight physical. So I would lose my fucking job unless I was vaccinated. So I lied to him and told him that I was. And my thoracic surgeon, he looked at me like blink face, dude. And he goes, "Well, I'll say this." He said, I am a big believer in the vaccine. I'm pro-vax all the way. But I also can't tell you to the face that you would be alive right now if you had taken the vaccination. Whoa. And I go, "What do you mean by that?" He said, "There's been so much heart tissue inflammation that has come from a lot of these vaccines." He goes, "I believe that because of the nature of the aneurysm that you had, that if you had any additional inflammation when the aneurysm decided to show up, the tissue would have been so weak that it would have dissected and you would have died right there in the airplane." And I go, "You're fucking telling me that if I'd gotten the vaccine, it would have killed me?" He goes, "I'm not telling you that, but I've been doing this for 30 something years." He goes, "I do not believe I'd be talking to you right now."
That's
like,
insane.
Holy fuck, dude. So,
crazy.
Dude, listen to your fucking gut, boys.
Yeah.
Like, if your fucking gut and your heart and your principles are telling you some shit, fucking listen, dude, because
Save your life.
I full-heartedly believe I'd be fucking dead right now.
That's crazy.
If I had taken that, if I had got on my fucking knees and sucked off the fucking government or my CEO or anybody else that told me, "Just get the fucking vax, buddy, it'll be cool. All your problems will go away. And you'll get to keep your career." And I'm like, well, I don't know, man. Fucking my principles and my fucking soul to me are worth a little bit more than the ever degrading value of the fucking dollar.
Hey,
but
when
whatever.
you're right,
Go have fun.
You're right.
Jabbing. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's just like, what's your soul worth? What's your life worth? But anyway, Joel, you go.
All right.
Thanks,
later,
buddy.
Man. Dave the Pilot. Crazy stuff. Gerard, if you're listening, you have 3 people named Jacob. I assume they're not all named Jacob. Maybe if we can fix that somehow. It's not a big deal if you can't. We're going to go to Donnish. Wild call.
I'm definitely not going to top that person in terms of content.
Yeah, that's
nice seeing you.
He might have a second viral clip this week. That was crazy.
For real.
What's up, man?
Your set was amazing, and I can't, I can imagine the Jew pilled race people, which I am to some extent. Heard that one black joke.
We all are a little bit.
That one black joke, like, yeah, this is why I'm here. This is what resonates with me. This is why I call into a Jew.
Hey, I got something for everybody. What can I say?
Yeah. I got a story. So the other week, I was at my uncle's party, and then I was sitting with my cousin and his teenage friends. I was like, whatever, maybe I won't sit with the adults for now. Sit with them. Speak English. Right when I sit down, this teenage kid, is like, "Y'all really think it was 6 million?" And then this 15-year-old, I swear to God, it's the first thing he says. Like, he has no idea that I'm like like into like cultural, political stuff. Although I'm not like to that extent. So right, he says you always think it's 6 million. Then this 15-year-old kid responds to him saying, "Hey man, we have a problem with the Zionists, but when you say stuff like that, that's like you're taking it too far, and that's like ruining our image," and like hashing this out. The kid
so it's
actually
kind of
two
sides,
started,
two sides of the coin almost of like they're like no with the, like the one kid was like no we just our beef's with Israel, and then the other one's like just kind of the whole kit and caboodle
going off into the whole what.
Like just the other side, the 6 million was like no, it's just like it's just the Jews, and then the other guy was like no, it's like it's Israel we're mad at, essentially.
Yeah, exactly. And I was political at that age, but most people around me weren't. And then
I was
thing,
not
like later on, they were like,
when I was like 15, I was like not political. I didn't follow. I don't know if it's like maybe. No, I don't think I was like, I did not follow politics when I was 15. I was like into sports. I was fucking 15.
Yeah,
everybody stay on the line, by the way. I see a message. If you're all named Jacob, that's fine. Just stay on the line. Don't go anywhere. I just was wondering if it's a mistake.
But you Danny, have like when you did get into it, you were you have a very astute analysis. Then a little later on, they were talking to two people like, yeah, my sister watches Love Island, and then Zoo was like, that's goy slop, and I was like, back in my day, we had Jersey Shore, that was our goy slop, where you actually had to go out and they had to.
See, I love goy slop. I love. I really hate it when there's. I hate it when Jews are like, you can't say goy slop. No. We're doing goy slop. Goy slop is here to stay. Goy slop is.
I hate to be like talking like one of those super Jew pill dudes, but like I did hear on a different podcast that they were saying the ACLU has. Maybe you already know that the ADL not designated it, but it said like ADL. Okay, so they're like, oh, it's not just cute just because kids are saying it. It's has implications. I mean, for some of them it does. Maybe they'll just take it to just.
I mean, it's so broad. First off, it's funny. Secondly, it's so broad. Like I think it's almost like anything you buy from any like food item you buy from Walmart, for example, would just be goy slop, I guess. Besides, I don't even know. Like, would their produce count as goy slop because it's still from Walmart? You know what I mean? It was like Walmart's not a Jewish company.
Trader Joe's.
Yeah, Trader.
I was thinking like Trader Joe's and stuff is healthy. Like
Trader Joe's is not
part of this. Like, yeah, I was like, is there Trader Joe's? I was like, obviously it's not designed, engineered, or whatever.
Yeah.
But what do you think about the like? I'm not pro Iran by any means, but people are saying that Iran specifically made this agreement. So knowing that Israel is deep into Lebanon, they want to, I guess, get territory or whatever, or have that area, and then they know the U.S.
Yeah, dude, this war is one of the most confusing. Like, I'll go on Twitter, and then someone will like from the U.S. government will say something, being like, "Yeah, we have a deal. We're going whatever," and then I'll see another thing, and it'll be like, "Yeah, the Iranian state news says they don't have a deal." It's so hard to know. I mean. There's no way that the United States could bind Israel, and maybe this does hurt like the U.S.-Israel relationship, which I'm sure a lot of people would be very happy with. But Israel's like, yo, we're on the other side of the fucking world. We have our own problems here. Like, if we're gonna get bombed by Hezbollah, like we're gonna do something about it. It'd be pretty cucked otherwise. If the U.S. is like, hey, you can't do this because it's hurting our deal, you're like, I don't know, tough shit. That's kind of how.
Have their interest.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Down. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, look, Iran learned something very valuable from this whole endeavor, which was that they can spike global oil prices and cause a lot of problems for a lot of people. I don't know if they knew that they could do this before. I'm sure they probably had an idea. I don't think they've ever tried it. I don't know if like the oil crisis from the 70s also involved closing the Strait of Hormuz. I don't know, but I mean, yeah. Well, I mean, Israel's just going to do what Israel does. Like, U.S. can come along for the ride if they want, but it's very clear at this point that, Trump's like, yeah, I told Israel not to do it. And they're like, yeah, well, they're going to. I don't know.
We're still going to do it. So I guess the whole debate about who controls who, I mean, to some extent.
Can I ask you a question? Is so that party you were at, I assume you're Indian?
Mm-hmm. Pakistani.
Pakistani. Oh, okay, sorry.
But to the viewers, it's the same thing. According to them, although we got a whole nuke. We got a whole nuke against India, but like.
You guys hate India. So, Pakistani. So, were all the people at the party you were at Pakistani?
Yes.
So does because I imagine Pakistanis right now are kind of getting like the anti-Indian stuff just out of almost out of ignorance, right? Like as just like is this a discussion amongst people? Yeah, I know amongst the uncles it is, and then my cousin who lives in England but he's from Pakistan, he was trying to tell me like, oh, you know, the last military incursion, whatever, a year ago, Pakistan showed their strength, and I looked up on ChatGPT and was saying like Pakistan took a lot of L's. Then I showed it to him, and then I was like, yeah, there are some sources. I looked at the sources were pro-India. Then when I looked up like what are the advantages of what were the outcomes of the last kind of interaction, the war or whatever, that were positive. And some Pakistani news sources were saying like, oh, we stood tough. So it is something, and I appreciate you asking about that because I was thinking about like, maybe I'm just curious. Like when you guys when you see anti-Indian hate, which is like rampant right now, more than I've ever seen in my life, are you like, yeah, fuck those Indians? Because you guys hate India, right?
I used to be very left wing, and that part of me, I was always like, I was dating Indian chicks and shit, and not just that, but I was like, some of the parents had whatever issues, and I was like, yeah, we're kind of, my great grandparents were from there, and like we're all the same to some extent. Obviously, there's some differences, but then as I kind of have gotten more like, I guess you could say reactionary or based, I see that stuff, and part of me is like, hell yeah, bro, fuck them, bro, fuck them. And then another part of me is like, was like actually like I know some, a couple of Indians that are fucking cool people, like took care of me when I was out of Chicago. Random Indian guy took me to the hotel when I was like smashed, and I was like, all right, bro, this guy, I'm like calling Jeets all day, but like he helped me out. But then later on he saw one of my anti-Indian posts and he just like got pissed. Then there's other Indian dudes, Punjabi dudes that are kind of like,
so you're
India and
one of the people on Twitter talking to you. You're like, they shit in the streets. That's you.
Instagram, yeah, but like I had a kind of ex-business partner, or no, still a business partner. We're trying to start it up again. Content, and he's Punjabi, and he's kind of like in the thing of like fuck India and fuck Pakistan. We kind of want our own thing. I don't know the full thing with the Khalistanis, but they're cool.
Oh, he's a Khalistani.
I'm not sure if he is, but I'm not sure if he is, and I don't know. Oh, there's a lot of, he isn't. He moved from India to Canada a couple of years ago, the west side of Canada, actually.
West. Yeah. That's where all the Khalistanis are. They're all in the west, like British Columbia.
And it is interesting how, like in California, the Indians are like kind of Pakistani student nerds, like I'm uncle in the Bay Area, or like IT dudes. And you go to like Italy, and like the dudes like walking the store begging for change are like Indians. And I actually had ran up on my uncle in Italy. He happened to be there vacationing at the same time, and he actually like he's kind of based. He thought I was like gonna rob him, and then he didn't even recognize me for a second. He like stood back. I'm like, oh, dude, this is your nephew. I just ran into you, like, because we were both happened to be there.
So even it could be family, and they're just like, you guys all look the same.
Yeah, and then like over there, they're like the ones that are just like worse than anything you could say, but not worse, but yeah, the blacks and the Mexicans here.
Sure.
It makes me think it's like, all right, dude, over here it's like, because obviously as you know, like in the Canada and UK took them in at a certain point with lower income, so a lot of them are just like third, fourth generation alcoholics. We're over here.
Yeah, because I think about it a lot. I actually do think about the Indian thing a lot because, like, with all the anti-Indian hate, and I'm like, obviously, like if you're a newcomer and you grew up your whole life in a different culture, different country, it would be difficult to assimilate. Like I think of myself, like if I had to go live in India right now, I probably would have some problems assimilating. I would be like, no. I'm like, I'm doing things the way I've always done them. And if you guys don't like it, tough shit. But I always found like the first generation and onward, they assimilated perfectly fine. Like I never, I always was like, yeah, these people are as Canadian as I am. And not to say that like newcomers can't assimilate, because some of them do, but like the notion that they're like, oh, some of them don't assimilate. And you're like, yeah, I don't know. It's not really about that generation. It's about their kids and how the kids assimilate. And generally the kids is like, I imagine you were born in the United States.
Yes.
Right? And you're probably...
You're spot on.
Yeah, you're like probably slightly left of fucking Slav or something at this point, like maybe a little bit, but you know what I mean? Like you seem to.
And a point that you made recently, not to say I said it first, but some months before, I had said that there's some Somalians that you guys are talking shit on that probably have like 95% of the same opinions as you, except the issue of Somalians. They don't think all of them are.
Well,
so that point, I remember you made
but they're
more
right.
recently.
They're the thing is they live in that culture and they're like we actually know this firsthand, and you're taking the worst of us and ascribing this to all of us. And I mean, we all know that you're like, you can do that with any group, and any group that any person listening or watching belongs to, you can kind of do that. And people would be like, yeah, I'm not that.
I just remember I have actually an Indian friend. He went to Canada. He saw the sign or something about. He's like, oh, people are like bringing the tractors. Or he heard about it's a drive-through. Like this shit's like making us look bad. And he's a super nice guy and stuff like that. And like obviously he's not doing that or shitting in the streets. But then somebody could lump him in.
There's no first generation Indians. You were born in the United States or Canada, and you're shitting in the streets. It's like some guy who lived in India for 50 years, probably got brought over by the kids who immigrated. And they're like, yeah, I don't know. You ever take a dump in nature? It's just don't knock it until you try it. And then you're just like, yeah, we just don't do that here though.
Yeah, I mean, a piss in the woods, I can't say that is one of the most relaxing things. And maybe I'm a G too, to quote G people, but like, yeah, I'm not justifying it. I'm just a random thought. It's like, yeah,
every man has pissed in the woods, and I've shit in the woods before on like a camping trip. I'm like, what are you supposed to do? It's more they catch them like shitting at the beach or in like a parking lot or something. But you're like the first generation and onwards, none of them do that stuff. All right, man, I gotta let you go. It was good chatting with you.
I appreciate it. Thanks for your curiosity. That's why I enjoy speaking with you.
Buddy.
Thank you, Dan.
Donnish, everybody. All right, let's take some more calls. I'm not going to close the phone lines yet, but I'm going to close the phone lines quite soon. All right, let's go to a UFO story. Hello, what's happening? Who am I speaking with?
Danny, this is Jacob.
Okay, this is Jacob.
Called you back,
so
and
we might legitimately just have three Jacobs. Yeah, we might just have three Jacobs in this.
Hey, it's like one of the most popular names.
It is, yeah.
You never know.
It's from the Bible.
Yeah. So I called you back in October. It's kind of a bummer. I was in Dallas. Like I had to leave the day before you flew into Fort Worth for a show.
Yep.
But I called you. I had some stories. It's some like UFO stories. You might remember the one about the UFO hole in Fort Carson. I saw the UFO coming out of.
You sent me the video. Was that you sent me like that vertical video? Yeah, I remember.
I was on like right before your UFO guest who never replied to me. No, so I've got like one other UFO story I'd share. This one's a legitimate UFO story. The other one I'm pretty sure is just crazy military technology. But and then something to amend that story about the shit I saw at Fort Carson. Wish I had an update on the story about that guy and his story about 30,000 drones being in American airspace. But
okay, let's hear it. Let's hear it.
But so when I was like 15, I was riding through the canyon between Salida, Colorado and Canyon City, Colorado.
Okay.
Moving east with a buddy of mine and my mom. And I was just sitting there in the passenger seat looking out, to the side, to the right a little bit, just kind of looking in the mountains. And I see this, like, all I can describe it is like, it looks like a teardrop shape, like a very, stylized teardrop, the full shape. Turn on its side, and it was like a mercury, like quick, like silver, reflective silver color. And it wasn't diffusing light the way you see like light shining off of a roof of a house from a distance would, where you can kind of see the rays going off in every direction. This was just some reflective object in the air. And I could tell that it was like between the hill behind it and I, like the way you'd see like a helicopter flying around real low between you and some hills.
Okay.
So I'm looking at this thing, probably looked at it for like 5 seconds. And then it just, from one side to the other, just faded to nothing, just became invisible, and it was gone. And I just turned back, and I was like, what the? I didn't say shit for years. I just kept that one to myself for a long fucking time.
When was this?
This was about 22. It's been like 2005.
2005. I feel like we're like I was just thinking about this. I'm like, probably because everybody's on their phone now. Probably there's way less people who just like look up at the sky. So you probably like,
yeah.
I would imagine that a lot of people just are walking around and there is a thing above them and they're just like on their phone.
Well, I mean, if you just spend time outside at night, if you're in a dark area, like I'd see weird shit flying around. I'm not going to call them UFOs. I'm going to call it
sure, but
drones for the time being.
Something.
I'm not really like a big paranormal or alien person. I'm a really skeptical person. So when I see shit like this, that there's no other way to explain what it is. I mean, other than to just describe what I saw. Not trying to like ascribe any explanations or anything other than what I've seen. But I mean, this was like, how many things do you just see become invisible?
Right.
Like
at night?
It wasn't, I'm not even saying like, it was like, it was midday.
Oh, midday.
Like noon.
Oh, wow.
And like, it was not far away, like a mile or two, maybe, like easy to see. Like if you'd been up in the air looking down, you'd have had a really easy time telling what you're looking at. But so there's that story of what I'm pretty fucking sure is UFO. Did you ever see Flight of the Navigator?
No.
It's like a really old UFO movie. If you look up a picture of it, or anyone in your audience does, it was almost identical to that thing without all the ridges and like bumps.
Gotcha. Yeah.
But then
I see it. Yeah, looks like the bean,
yeah.
kind of the Chicago bean a little bit, but with more ridges.
I'm not supposed to know what the other one is.
The Chicago bean. It's like an art installation thing.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I do know what you're talking about. Yeah, a weird sculpture.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a little more pointed on one end though. It literally was like a water drop. Bad on one end, tapers to a point at the other end. Yeah. But and then so to add on to that other story I had about seeing stuff coming out of the ground in Fort Carson, the guy who took the video I sent you with his camera, like a couple nights later, got a picture of the light. He was able to zoom in on it long enough, like I guess as it was coming up, to actually snap a picture of it. And it's all black all around except for what the light is. The weirdest shit is, and the reason I wanted to call back in about this is because you had mentioned something last time I called about whether or not I thought it was connected to the stuff flying around over New Jersey.
Yeah.
So what he caught a picture of, it looked like 1,000+ degree glowing bright orange rings, like concentric rings, like you'd see in a gyroscope.
Okay.
Like one big ring, small ring, little ring. It looked like it was on fire almost. And so, we thought it was weird as shit. I've tried to get a hold of him to send me the picture. His stoner has probably lost the hard drive or whatever it was on.
Yeah, he doesn't.
He can't find it anymore. But I was a little skeptical or a little hesitant to call back initially because it was just sort of like, I had seen the other thing with my own eyes. This was a picture I'd seen after the fact. But after looking a little bit more into those New Jersey lights that you were talking about, there are reports of other people saying they saw lights that looked like gyroscopes.
Because the New Jersey ones had like the red and like the almost aviation, like they had the red and green, like blinking lights, like you would see on a plane. I don't know if planes have green lights on them as well, but I know they have like the blinking red lights.
Pretty sure they got green.
Yeah, I think they're green.
So I didn't hear anything about that.
Yeah,
with the New Jersey stuff.
I think some of the New Jersey ones. I don't know. Maybe there were different drones. I think I saw some that were like had the red and green, but these were like the size of minivans. They were massive drones.
Yeah. Like, considering how far my buddy had to zoom in to get a picture of that light, I wouldn't be surprised if it was comparable in size. It's like a 45-minute drive from where we were to that base. But
it was over. This was over a military base or near one?
Yeah, like the training grounds of Fort Carson, south of Colorado Springs.
Gotcha.
They've got there's a highway that cuts through it, and this would there's two kind of. This would have been between the two of them, kind of I think probably nestled among some hills, but otherwise invisible from ground level. We were kind of elevated up on a mesa where we were looking at it. But the weird thing I was thinking of was that Trump had said something about, he's like, oh yeah, they're ours, and like nothing else.
Yeah.
Which kind of left it at that. But like, if these things, I mean, I saw them coming out of the training grounds of a military base for one, and then two, it seems to match the description of what we've seen that was claimed to be ours. So they must be some kind of crazy fucking military technology. And then to add to that, all these attacks we've been launching overseas, like in Venezuela or Iran, there are reports of, before the attack happens, people seeing similar looking little lights showing up right above where the attack happens for just a little while and then zipping off.
See, that makes sense. Like that, all of it. Yeah. Definitely like the drones, the like, you know, obviously the US government has drones, like the military, like fighting is going towards drone warfare. Like you see in Russia, Ukraine, Iran. Yeah. Like everything, that all makes sense to me. I still don't get why it was in fucking New Jersey. Like, I guess maybe they needed to try them out in like, they need to test them in residential areas because that's what the, you know, maybe it's like defense against if there's ever like an attack on a residential area, and maybe like testing them is not the same as testing them is not the same as testing them in the desert. Like I'm sure they already did the desert testing, and now they're like, we need to test these in cities. I guess because like
they said something about their
like there were people in Manhattan
story like, oh, we're looking for radioactive stuff or searching for something.
Yeah, but I remember. No, that was like a rumor, but like I saw people in Manhattan who were like, I'm seeing drones. So there must be some element where it's they're worried about, you know, what happens if, you know, New York gets attacked by drones. Like, can we defend New York with our drones? I guess that would make the most sense. And then it would make sense that they're like, yeah, we don't want to say too much, but I mean, that's the only thing I can think of why they'd be flying them in the city. That's it. Like, because the whole radioactive thing,
unless it is some kind of sensing technology they were testing, like that. I don't know if that heart murmur thing they alleged was actually real or sci-fi, but you got to test that somewhere.
Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, that was like such a crazy thing, and they were like, yeah. I mean, I remember like at the time the police, like local police, were like, yeah, we don't know what the fuck these things are. Like nobody told us about them, and weren't like the, you know, the airplane companies, like
nobody knew. I don't remember hearing anything from them.
Yeah, but I guess this is just like, hey, this stuff's above your pay grade. It's not. It's not for you to know. Cool, man. Anything else you want?
Must not have been aliens.
Yeah, it wasn't aliens, which makes sense. All right, Jacob. Thanks, man.
Oh, hey, one real quick thing I want to add on to that.
Yes.
Shit going on in Canada. So everyone's. I've seen other people in the comment sections of other things talking shit about this chick shooting that guy too. And I'm not like the world's biggest proponent of female officers being in roles like that either. But I lived on the south side of Colorado Springs, and I've walked through a shooting. I had bullets zip over my head, and then had to call the police and just sit there and watch the response among other people responding. And I can tell you firsthand, like, you never fucking go up to a firefight with the police to try to help, because they don't know if you're one of the attackers or one of the good guys.
That guy would have been shot by any cop. And honestly, like, if you watch the video, that guy was literally, he's like in a little corridor, and he's like trapped. On one end is the shooter, and on the other end is...
Would he run to the guy trying to kill you, or the guy who's
right? And the guy wasn't actually. That's the thing. The guy, I guess, was trying to kill cops. He wasn't trying to shoot, because if you watch like a different video,
I saw him run past that old guy.
Like the old guy. He just runs right by him. So he's obviously not trying to kill random people. But that guy wouldn't know that. So he's just like, well, obviously I'm going to go to the police officer. But he literally like, she's like has her, you know, she's crouched down, and he just like pops up in front of her. I'm like, I think any
he's
cop
like surprised.
Yeah, I think any cop would have shot that guy. I don't think.
Yeah, man, the fog of war is real. Like, you never know who's on whose side when all that shit goes down. It's hard to fucking focus on what's feet in front of your face.
Yeah, and the dude's wearing like all black, and you're just like, I don't know. She just saw a guy, like literally, she turns around, but like in her peripheral vision, it's just like a guy there, and there's a shootout, and you're like, yeah, you're getting killed. I don't know what like. If I was in that guy's position, I probably would have done the exact same thing. The only thing maybe differently,
if it had been a war zone, she would have been praised for reacting that quickly.
Yeah, like I guess maybe I would have like sprinted, but he probably was like, "Yeah, it's a cop. Like,
Right.
they're here to help me." But you know, you're in this like active situation, and she's like, "I don't know who the fuck you are. Like, I don't know if you're not the guy who's like you're just pretending you're a civilian and you're actually the guy shooting everybody." Like, they have no idea. Like,
Right.
it honestly,
And she didn't know he was coming.
yeah. Like the crazy part is he would have been safer running towards the guy shooting. But
Right.
like, how are you supposed to know
Just
that?
sprint past the cops. Hope she doesn't turn and shoot you anyway.
I mean, probably if like as I'm saying this, I go, if you sprinted by her, you go, I'm not even gonna like acknowledge her. I'm just gonna fucking rip by her. She's probably shooting you still.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like you're just like stuck. I guess your best thing is to stay put, but you're like, well, this guy's coming. He's like reloading. I'm like, he's gonna kill me.
Yeah. I guess sometimes in life you're just fucked and you die.
Yeah,
You know?
I think he's still alive though. I think last I read right before the show started,
no shit.
he was like in surgery, so he wasn't dead. But I was
He's
just,
about to get paid.
See, yeah, well, in Canada it's different. I don't know if you don't get paid the same way.
No.
Maybe you get something, but I think that they would be like, yeah, that was like wrong. That was like the ultimate wrong place, wrong time.
Oh shit.
Unfortunately. All right, Jacob. Thanks, man. Jacob, everybody. All right, let's see what Dylan's up to. Talking trash about our veterans and aviators. Hello?
Oh, Lee, I want to tell a story about a UFO I saw. It was like a teardrop, and it was just hanging there, refracting light like I'd never seen before. And then all of a
What, you
sudden
don't
it
like
was gone.
UFOs, Dylan?
I realized it was just a raindrop on my hat.
You don't like UFOs?
No, I was making fun of him because he was making fun of me in the chat, and it hurt my feelings.
Man, you have anger issues, Dylan.
That was anger.
Well, it's maybe not anger. Well, you do have anger issues, but these are unrelated. But you have, yeah, I don't know. You're like battling in the trenches of the internet. You gotta, you give them out. You gotta take some.
Yeah, and I give it back. I don't understand. I'm competitive.
You are
just like Dave. Please call back in. That was an amazing 45 minutes.
That was, you know what? It was a long
Perfection.
call, and I was thinking that, but I was like, it was a good call. That's the thing. I'm happy.
No. Everyone in the chat loved you, Dave. Everyone loved you, Dave.
Well, Dave had
the high school physics.
Dave had a clip go viral this week, so Dave gets. That's the thing. That's literally how I prioritize my callers. Is if you had a clip go viral, you're getting a second. You're getting a second shot.
No, I love the trig lesson from the Spirit Airlines.
Oh yeah, of course. The flat
high
earthers are
school
like, this guy's
physics
a fucking
lesson.
kook.
Fucking Neil's boring over here. Some of you will laugh at that.
That was a good one.
If anybody wants to actually learn about there's nuance, Dave, look up Operation Popeye or Operation Large Area Coverage. This is why people think that there's
Is this the chemtrail thing?
The chemtrail thing. These are actual real events.
See, this is the thing. I don't actually dispute, like, obviously with like seeding and stuff. I think we can all agree that stuff exists. I think it's when it comes to actual, like, people think it's from commercial aviation. They're like, yeah, I'm on an American Airlines flight, and my American Airlines flight is doing that.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, like, the military, I think, does that shit. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if, the military is spraying stuff. The seeding companies, I mean, I know for a fact, like, 2008, the Beijing Olympics, they had really bad smog, which is normal for Beijing, and they did some seeding thing to literally, like, temporarily clear up the smog. So, and
You're extending this call longer than I wanted it to be.
Oh,
I didn't
okay.
really want to talk about this.
All right.
And yup in the chat, I'm not going to make fun of you. You're an OG from the Ben Avery days. I love you, man. What I was actually calling in about was I noticed in this little peace deal that we were making with Iran,
yeah,
some numbers that kind of were interesting. So,
go ahead.
you know how they cited that they were going to make a deal for $300 billion?
Yep.
Okay, so during the beginning of the Ukraine war, how much money did they take away from Russia? $300 billion. Right?
Interesting. Okay.
Okay. So then I just happened to be listening to this guy talk about how China just achieved a thorium reactor in the last week. And
what is that?
Originally, the U.S.
What's
it's kind of it's like a salt that it's like a molten salt that like burns a lot cleaner, and you don't have to use water to cool it.
Okay.
And you can continuously operate it
It's for power
without
generation.
stopping the plant.
Thorium-based
Yeah,
nuclear
200
power.
times more efficient. Can I talk, Jake Shields?
Oh, I'm just looking. Why do you keep calling me Jake Shields? Is that a thing he does? He cuts everybody off? Does he take calls?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's so weird. I've hung out with Jake Shields many times. He's like the most quiet, soft-spoken guy. He like barely talks.
No, the reason you do it is because there's delay on your phone. Like whenever anybody calls into the show, they'll realize there's a delay.
Well, but also
So-
people are listening to this, so I have to give listeners context because it's like the thing where sometimes, and I do this myself, where I'll talk about something assuming people know what I'm talking about, but they don't.
Yeah. So
Anyways,
from 1959 to 1972, the U.S. was working on thorium reactors, and they dropped it because they said it couldn't be weaponized. And I was trying to think about what was happening around 1972, and I remembered that in 1969, Nixon made a Nixon doctrine, which was basically making other countries responsible for their own defense, which, if you kind of think about Nixon and Trump, they have a lot of similarities to what's going on right now. In 1971, Nixon removed the gold standard for the Bretton Woods system.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, 1971. And then in 1972, Nixon visits China to westernize them to make China stronger against Russia and open up trade. Then in 1973, there was the original Iran oil crisis. And then in 1974, they start the petrodollar. So if you start thinking about that, it kind of explains how we kind of started working with China if they start getting on the petrodollar. And then recently, they have 100 million barrels of oil right now that are unaccounted for. And the only reason that oil hasn't spiked in the last couple months is because China, for whatever reason, instead of I think what was it, purchasing oil? I can't remember what it was, but they're using their oil reserves, and that's
The U.S. is using theirs
keeping
too.
the price. Yeah, but China is using a lot more, and they're using it, which is not raising up the oil prices. And so it kind of seems like they're doing a deal for the U.S. because remember Trump had that visit with China.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe a month ago.
So I think that this was an agreement, and it explains kind of why they've been saying for the last decade or so that we're going to war with China by 2030.
Taiwan?
So no, it's not Taiwan. It's actually by 2030, China has said that they're going to go and make this commercially available to everybody. And the other thing is that China, India, and Turkey have some of the largest.
Hold on, sorry to cut you off. I know
thorium.
the World Cup's going on. It's fucking Turkey. This is pissing me off so much. Well, all of a sudden everybody is like Turkey. Shut up. It's Turkey. I know the people in Turkey are like, yeah, it's Turkey or whatever. I'm watching soccer and they're like Turkey. I'm like, when did this come up? Anyways, just a pet peeve. Continue.
Okay, but so. God damn it! Now I lost my place. But that was pretty much what I was saying.
So basically, just
there's
to
a
sum
lot
this
of
up,
coincidences.
China is going to be selling this thorium reactor to the world. once they've developed it?
By 2030, they've
2030.
made it. They've declared, because just this past week, right when the oil deal or the peace deal was going on, China actually provided proof that they got the thorium reactors to work.
Interesting. And so this will, I mean, I assume, like, how much of crude oil goes to, would this replace crude oil, I guess, this, because I imagine this is, more like electricity, stuff like that. Like, obviously, you're not going to be able to power.
And who's the biggest proponent of electric cars? China with their BYD company.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, and the good thing is they don't have to rely on Russia's small nuclear power plants that they're developing in the North Pole that require cooling through water. So it actually strengthens China again against Russia. So it's almost a very mirrored timeline of what was going on with Nixon and Trump and Iran and China and Russia.
Interesting.
So
That's yeah, I didn't hear about this thorium thing. I've never heard of it before. Now, can I say one thing? Can I ask one question?
What?
So I see this article, China achieves proof of thorium reactor fuelization. China lies about stuff all the time. Do we know that this is in fact true?
No, this was proof. They finally actually have it. They finally actually had it. The guy that, Glenn Deason, I forgot who it was, that he's had a guy on there before to talk about this a year ago, that they were coming close to it. And then they just finally came up with proof.
Interesting.
This week. So. All right.
Cool. Fascinating.
That's it. Fuck the Jews.
Yep. Thanks, Dylan. Everybody. You are allowed to say that. I don't think YouTube has any issue with that for now. Okay, let's go to. Do we really have 3 patrons all named Jacob? All right, let's go to another Jacob. I think one of these is the Brainerd Jacob, I believe. I think so. We'll see. I don't know, but we shall see.
Hello.
Hey, what's up? Who am I speaking with? Is this also Jacob?
Yeah, actually, Jake.
All right. Okay, all right. By the way, I would like to retract my comment to Gerard. My mistake. I thought it was a mix-up, but there's just all these Jacobs.
Yeah, so first time, long time. I just wanted to jump in. It's normally I catch the podcast on the back end, but shout out to Andre. I've been in the life science world for about a decade now.
Okay.
So Andre is a postdoc, and to his point, you guys were talking about a few weeks ago about them just being absolutely abused. That is true. And I believe that this is my interpretation. I'd like him, if he wanted to chime in later, let me know if I'm right or wrong. But it looks to me, dealing with a lot of these people as a sales rep, a lot of the ones who choose to be here, they can already afford it. So they are not here for the monetary background. It's more of an honor culture thing. So that's why they choose to stay in the academic world, whereas everyone who's from here is kind of like jumping out to industry and just taking the bag.
Right. So they're not worried about making the whatever $2,000 a month because of the fact that they're over here. They already have money, essentially.
Yeah, they're getting it from the family. But then just more recently, you and Ryan were kind of talking about eugenics with that whole thing on the family that terminated the pregnancy last week. So my wife and I are actually going through that right now with, I'm like you with Ashkenazi on that side. There's a lot of, we're playing in the shallow end of the genetic pool, so to speak.
It's a fact. It can't be argued.
Yeah. So there is, and I recommend everyone do it, but there is like to start that, you can go do a genetic screening and they'll check that to see if there is, and if we flag for anything.
Yeah.
So
I had mine
will
done.
do is,
I've had mine done.
Yeah. So what that leads to is if we were to both theoretically flag for something as recessive carriers, then we would have to go through the IVF route where they could be like, oh, we can use CRISPR and Cat8 to just knock that out and basically not have to, be like, we can fix it. So that's then leading to, like you were saying, where do we draw this line, so to speak? Because if you're already in there, fixing stuff, then it turns into a question of, well, do I want him to be 6 foot or 5'5"?
Right. Yeah. And I feel like, from what I understand, you probably know this better than I do, but they're not quite there yet, but they will be, where you will be able to.
Yeah,
you will be able to be like, I want blue eyes, blonde hair, 6 feet tall, like the whole thing.
Oh yeah. I think that by my grandkids, at least, I'm 32, they're going to be like, what do you mean you guys just rolled the dice and tried to have kids and just saw what would happen? It's going to be like mind-boggling.
Probably. It'll be like, you just do IVF and then they take the embryos and they send it down to the factory and then you show up in 9 months and they have just like a kid waiting for you.
Yep. All right. Well, that's it. Just wanted to add that little insight. Don't know you got there. Right. But thank you. Pleasure. Big time. Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for calling. Jacob, everybody. Okay. Let's go to, I'm going to take some more Patreon calls. What time is it? I don't know if we're going to do a 3-hour show tonight. I'm kind of gassed. Let's go to Peter, and then we're going to go to the third Jacob. Can't do back-to-back Jacobs. It's too confusing. Boyota, $5 super chat, says, just paying my dues. Keep it up, Danny boy. Thanks, pal. Appreciate it. Much appreciated. Hello, Peter from California. You're on the air.
Hey, so it's weird. I was going to ask you to pick a Canadian Indian topic by whether you wanted dot or feather, but some other dude mentioned Khalistan.
Khalistan is the kind of, so for people who don't know, there's Sikh Indians. This Khalistan thing, by the way, did not exist when I lived in Canada. I had never heard of it whatsoever. I don't know if it was due to like this just influx of Indian people to Canada in the last like 5 or 6 years. Maybe it was just like kind of bubbling up and then, maybe it did exist. But so there's Sikhs and they want their own country essentially. Right? Am I getting that right? They essentially want their own country in India?
Correct, this far. In India, they want the Punjab, or at least some frickin' part of it.
Some portion of the Punjab province or whatever. And they have rallies, they're armed. Like there's all these videos of them like shooting guns and people are like, where the fuck did they even get those guns from? But yes, so and you know what, I will say the main issue a lot of people have is they're bringing their blood feuds over to Canada, and people are just like, we do not want this. They're like if you go look up, so this is, I don't know if this is specifically Khalistani related, but in Western Canada, specifically mostly British Columbia, they have like these insane problems with extortion. And it's specifically from some group of Indians. I don't know which ones, but they're like, I guess for them, just like extortion is just like a totally normal way to earn a living. And there's like all these businesses getting shot up. They're just and they only extort their own. So don't worry, people. They only extort their own kind. But it's like to the point where they had to make PSAs being like, do not extort people. It's a crime. And you'll get sent back. You'll dishonor your family.
I have to say, I mean, part of it is they're just pre-existing criminal networks that have extended into Canada. And part of it, too, is this shit's been going on since 1970s, bud. I think you just weren't awake in Canada.
Possible.
It's possible. The Canadian Intelligence Service has been all sorts of involved.
Yeah. See, and I don't know, maybe there's a distinction between Eastern Canada and Western Canada, because like my understanding of the Indians was always Brampton, which I'm sure, which is crazy to me that everybody knows what Brampton is now, but Brampton is, I believe it's 90% Indian. And even when I was in college 20 years ago, it was like people called it Bangladesh. It was known as just like, it was this Indian enclave. It was just all the Indians just moved there. They could be around each other, but there was never discussion of high rates of crime. Like, if anything, probably they had below average crime. Like there was no issues. Like, there were really, like, 20 years ago, everybody's like, yeah, that's where all the Indians are. And it's like, all good. No problems.
I mean, so Brampton, this is going beyond my depth of Ontario knowledge, but I think it was a more diverse spectrum of people from the subcontinent, whereas BC, I think, was predominantly people from, Punjab or the western end of.
Yeah, it wasn't so like Punjab would be like Sikhs.
India. Yeah. See, But see, the thing that's confusing is there's also Hindu and Muslim Punjabs.
Right.
People,
so it was
there's like sub ethnicities.
Right. There weren't, not that the turbans weren't obviously the turbans were around, but I want to say it wasn't common. No, they were a small portion.
So this may have just happened then in the 20 years since you were there, but the dude who was the rapper who got shot, and it was just huge international news, the Sidhu, I don't know how to say this, but Sidhu Moosewala.
Where did he get shot?
He got shot.
He got shot at the parking lot of the Burlington Mall, right?
Oh, actually, that's right. That's right.
Yeah, I used to work at that mall. That's like 2 blocks from where I grew up.
Yeah, now he was Punjab. He was a Punjab Sikh.
Okay.
So at some point after you were there, they started coming. But going back to the 80s, the Canadians have been dealing with this issue. There was like a big Air India bombing.
Yeah, well, that's the most famous one. That was like Air Canada.
Yeah,
was it Air Canada or was it? No, it was Air India, but there was like all these Canadians died.
Air India, but it was mostly Canadians. And one of the alleged guys who was involved, who was being hunted by India, was a Canadian, a CSIS informant.
Yeah, which is CSIS is like the equivalent of CIA, basically.
The CIA, yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm curious, as a Canadian, though, maybe I'm curious, does it seem like this is an issue that largely derived from Canada's relationship to England? This is my theory. Tell me if you can see where I'm going with this. Is on the west coast of the United States, there was a similar sort of party, different goals, but it was called the Gaidar Party, Gaidar Party.
Okay.
It's based out of the west coast ports of the United States because a lot of Indians end up being longshoremen. And it was one of the big hotbeds of fundraising for Indian independence, subcontinent independence activists back in the, early 1900s. And it's just same concept as Boston being a source of funding to the IRA was the west coast of the United States, probably many port cities around the world, but this was a series of, very wealthy, comparatively port cities, and they transferred a lot of money and a lot of guns to what was pre-partition India. And anyway, this whole thing about Khalistan just seems like a modern flashback to the same exact problem, except now it's the government of India instead of the British Empire trying to deal with a little secessionist movement ended by a bunch of rich,
they had
by a bunch of expats.
The Indian government, I believe, there was like a whole issue because the Indian government had some Canadian assassinated. No, but they had a Canadian assassinated on Canadian soil, and we're like, you can't
in BC, right?
In BC, and you're like, you can't do that. You can't come to a sovereign nation as a different country and start executing citizens. Like normally, that's like a diplomatic nightmare. But I guess because they're so close, they just have to kind of sweep it under the rug. I mean, it was a big story, but it just kind of went away, at least in Canada. Yeah, I don't know. Like this Khalistan thing, from what I understand, it's just like some old country bullshit where they're just like, yeah, we want. It's not like they want Khalistan so they can go back. I know that much. That's not what they want.
No,
they're not like once we have Khalistan, we'll go back. I mean, if they were like, we'll go back, they would get literally fucking every white dude being like, yeah, let's do this.
Executed.
Yeah, no, every white dude would be like, no, it would help them. Like, yeah, let's make this happen.
Yeah. But once they got to India, Modi would have them.
Right. Yeah.
And the only conspiracy connection that I have to all of it is I'm thinking between CSIS and whatever the other Canadian spook services are, is it's becoming like a Whitey Bulger kind of thing where, you end up kind of in the pocket of the informants. Canada started off naively just trying to keep, a small problem down. And now they're ending up on the opposite side of India in a secessionist movement.
Yeah, and the thing is the government of Canada is just like, they're just such pussies that they want to be able, like, they don't want to upset anybody, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Like here, like Trump, he'll be like, yeah, this needs to happen. If people are upset by it, fucking tough shit. Like, just like what it is. Whereas they're like, oh, we want to do this stuff, but like we would hate to upset a single person. So, and if you're trying to like govern by consensus like that, it's impossible, right? You're like, oh, I need everybody to be happy with my decision. Well, that doesn't ever happen. So just don't get a lot done. Yeah. Not that they even do that, because they definitely do stuff where there's a lot of people who are like, yeah, we don't like that, but they're mostly white people, and they go, yeah, you guys have had your time. Very much.
Pivoting, and I can take it off the air. Indians with a feather. Do you think there were ever bodies under the Kamloops Indian Residential
No, dude. I said this literally when it first happened, and there's this Canadian journalist I follow, this guy Jonathan Kay, and I remember at the time, like I had people. I said this on the Boys Cast like 4, maybe even 5 years, probably 4 years ago at least, when this all happened, and they were burning churches all over Canada, and they're like flags across the country were at half-mast for these unmarked graves of these children. And at the time, there were people like, yeah, there's nothing there. They haven't actually found anything. And I remember saying this, and there was like people who I knew were like messaging me being like, yo, like you can't say that. Like there's definitely bodies there. And I'm like, no, I don't think there are. And then now it's just, now they want to make it a crime to deny residential school denialism a crime. And similar to, I guess, like Holocaust denialism, they just go, if you're doing it for the Holocaust, we're doing it for residential schools. Right. And, but the thing is, they lump this into that. So they're like, well, if you say that there are no bodies there, that should be a crime. And you're like, but you guys paid all this money, ground penetrating radar, all this stuff.
$14 million.
Oh, at least 14. Yeah, I know that was
or
like the
13 or 14
headline number, but like, dude, it is being into like the native kind of issues in Canada. Like it's big business. People make a lot of money from that. So, but yeah,
I posted it.
Look, hey, if they find the bodies, I'll fucking eat crow happily.
So and this is just to add to it, I'm sure this doesn't make a fucking bit of difference to the people who are like, no, it's still a crime to deny it. But in the end of May, this was in the National Post, a researcher was going and digging through the archives and found that the original contract for the residential school had a leach field specified specifically where the quote-unquote bodies were found.
Really?
Yeah, they found a bunch of dense matter hits, and it was specified to be a bunch of 6-inch clay pipes, and lo and behold, it's exactly where
I mean, they've had enough time. Like, go get some excavators. Go find like a tooth. Like, we're not asking for 231 bodies. Just like, go find a tooth.
I think the fact that they're avoiding it kind of tells you everything.
Well, but you know what? I get the avoiding it thing. The longer you don't find them, the more money there is. You go day one, just dig that shit up. You go, there's no more money. But if you prolong this thing, there's lots of money. But if you just go and find it, they go, okay, well, you got your money, you found it, good job. No more money, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Peter.
Anyway,
Thanks,
that was my Canadian conspiracies of the day. But
yeah. Maybe have we ever looked into the? I think we talked about it. There's a NORAD facility in North Bay, Ontario. It's kind of interesting. Let's go to Jacob number 3. This must be. Is this Jacob from Brainerd? Hello, you're on Low Value Mail. Who am I speaking with?
Oh, Danny boy, the pipes up. No, I'm kidding. It's Jake from Brainerd. Yep, you got it right, dude.
Brainerd.
You knew it.
Are you a Jacob, though?
I'm a Jacob, yes. I'm actually the main Jacob, because that's my last name, but it's not any shade on the previous Jacobs. They were all pretty fucking cool dudes.
Well, I don't think you get to decide that you're the main Jacob. I think the people decide.
Well, that's my God-given name. I don't know what to tell you, man.
Sure.
No, I'm kidding. I'm just joking.
So what's up?
But there was a funny story about Jakes. I had 4 Jakes in my high school, and the school had like 4 different wings. At one point in my high school career, all 4 Jakes met from all 4 different hallways in the middle at the exact same time, and we all just looked at each other and laughed and went, "Sup, Jake? Hey, Jake. What's up, Jake? Jake. What's up, Jake? Jake. What's up, Jake?" It was a good moment.
Yeah,
a beautiful moment in life.
Had to have been there.
Anyway. Yeah. But, I mean, come on. So the previous caller was talking about, like, so many things that I'm like, oh, my God. Can we all just laugh at the China and India border disputes using sticks?
Yeah. They beat each other up with sticks.
Oh, it's so beautiful. Just go back and rewatch some of the highlights.
I don't know if I think I've heard about them. I've never watched them. Are they good?
Watching two sides storm the beaches of Normandy with sticks and fight each other? Yes, it's beautiful.
Oh, here we go. China, India clash over. Oh, yeah, I remember this. This is a few years ago.
It's so good. It is so good. But, talking about, he was talking about Punjabs being Hindu and Muslim, possibly.
Yeah.
That is just so confusing because I've read multiple texts from Hinduism and understand the ideology of much of Muslim faith, but not the whole picture. But do you, the difference I would say would be starkly amazing would be like the Bhagavad Gita and all the different historical books from the great Muhammad and the people who followed him, where they were talking about like the war of the House of Peace or House of War. Have you ever heard of like the House of Peace or House of War ideology in Muslim? Okay. No. Well, it's actually pretty simple. It's basically the idea that if a country that you're visiting is Muslim, then you're in a house of peace and you can treat everyone like your fellow Muslim. If you go to another country that is not Muslim, then you are in a house of war where you have to kind of like get a foothold, be peaceful with them, then grow your ranks, get more people to come in on your side, and then build like little tiny communities within that country that are Muslim.
Yeah, that's not great.
Yeah, I mean, but like when you,
we welcome
it's an
these
ideology.
People we welcome these people into the West, and this is, I guess the thing is, because I do, I obviously, I've heard that stuff where they're like, they come in and they have lots of kids, and
they form their own rules and form their own community once they have enough political and sociological power.
Yeah, and but maybe this is like a optimism or hopefulness, but I do think that like some of them come here, maybe like they come here and but they have their kids, and I think of guys like Donnish, who called. And I feel like he's probably like, no, America is still better ideologically than this shit. And I feel
Right,
like
right.
once you're
Well,
here
that's
long
also-
enough, you're just like, no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to like America is so good that I don't, even though I understand it's like there's a religious element to it, eventually that kind of goes away once you're like, you know what, that's old country shit. I don't really want to do that.
Okay, you are onto something majorly critical right there. It is generational. It is every single individual, like every single religion. There aren't what is it, 6 billion Christians or something like that across the world, or not even. It's way less than that. A billion or something.
Maybe 2 billion,
I don't even.
I think.
Yeah, it was a major world religion. Now it's kind of, second place, third place, or whatever. I don't even know where that falls in anymore. I don't really care.
Number one. Hold on, how many Christians? 2.6 billion in the world. So that's number one.
Which makes sense.
Yeah, how many Muslims are there? Muslims, 2 billion. So soon, we're not far away from Muslims.
We're second place.
Yeah, no.
Going into second place.
Yeah, from going to second place, correct. Yeah, we're probably not too far
Anyway,
away from
that doesn't even matter. All that matters is the individual in the end. Every single person wakes up in this world going, where the fuck am I? I'm crapping my pants out. And then we have to figure out life. So every single religion has how many different branches in it? So saying that every single Muslim acts in this certain way is completely missing the entire point of human society throughout all the time. But then again, we have, everyone kind of has to form in their own community. Like if you try to branch off from what everyone around you is saying and be like, no, you're going to be shunned from the tribe and now you're going to be out in the wilderness and starve. That's kind of how it's been for how long. Yep. So there's a give and take when it comes to individualism and the collective, right? I mean, yeah. So, the difference in all those religions, I'm not blaming every single Muslim for following that ideology that says, oh, you live in America, they're not fully Muslim, you need to blah, 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 blah. There's plenty of people, I don't even know if it's 50-50. Who knows that exact statistic? Only God does. But,
yeah.
There's so many questions
I don't even
where
think
like,
it's like there's certainly, there's no shortage of instances where you're like someone who's born in America and they're radicalized and all that stuff. Like that obviously does exist. I still feel like that's such a small...
Well, that's why there's pain and terrorism and things in this world that we don't agree with as people with
but I still think
sane
that's
minds.
such a
There's
small
plenty
fraction. I think if you're born in America, you're Muslim, your parents are from, some country halfway across the world, eventually you're like, no, this is better. The way things are done here is better. I'm going to do this. Also, if you're in any sort of like public school system, you're like, if I veer too far away from the norm, I get bullied mercilessly.
But when you enter that new country, then now you have a total freedom of religion and thought. If you aren't being held down by your parents currently,
Yeah. I understand that. I mean, I guess I'm distinguishing culture and religion because obviously one of the tenets of America is the freedom to practice whatever religion you want.
Like one of the previous callers was talking, it was like 3 or 4 callers ago, was talking about how Indians and Somalians, he's like, I don't really think that Somalians are that stupid. Like I see people from India and you were like, yeah, but those people usually are generally like, raised in America and they're from India and whatnot. And I do have a little bit to say about the whole Somali versus Indian thing. Well, I live in Minnesota. I live like an hour away from St. Cloud where 100,000 Somalis were just dumped off. Yep. There's a vast gradient, just like every single human population. There's really nice Somalis, and then there's people that dress like they're trying to be in a rap music video, and they are very sus.
Trying to be a rap music video. Yeah, of course. Like there's certainly. I mean, when I was in Vegas, I was at the casino. Like we were staying in the casino. I was like walking through the casino, and I saw these. Pretty sure they were Somali guys, and they were kind of like And like
how could you tell, Danny? No, I'm kidding.
Well, I mean, hey, I can tell if somebody's Korean.
Everybody has a look.
Yeah.
Everybody has a
If
look.
someone's Korean, I'm pretty good at telling. It's not like a specific to Somali. But
Yeah. If
they
somebody's
were
got
like,
a little bit of Genghis Khan in him, I'm like, yeah, they might have a little bit of Genghis Khan in them. Who
right.
knows?
And, I
a
don't
lot of people do.
But like these dudes, they looked kind of like, I don't know, they looked like they were up to something fishy in their normal lives. And then these guys were walking around with backpacks, and they were literally like just like, I watched them lose like $30,000, and they were probably like in their 20s. And look, if a white guy was in his 20s dressed like that and lost, I'd be like, yeah, they're probably up to something no good in there that they arrived at that money. Now, maybe it's not the case. I don't know. Like, obviously, if they were wearing suits, I would be like, oh, they're probably just like wealthy. But they were all wearing like, Nike fucking tech tracksuits and stuff. I was like, probably.
And they're looking over their shoulder, all shifty-eyed and okay.
Kind of. I was like, there's probably something going on. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So I think we can move on from that topic. Now, I was so happy when you finally looked up what thorium reactors are.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. That is such a fantastic
should
wormhole.
we be concerned?
No, it's actually like have you seen anything about the recent developments over the years, past 5 years regarding fusion technology and how it functions?
Not really. No.
Well, when I took like college physics back in high school, I did like my teacher was like this 65-year-old. It was his last year of teaching. He was like the most brilliant guy ever. Like he would just draw out this extrapolated thing before the class and be like, "Don't you get it?" And we're all like, "What the fuck was that?" And he's like, "Why don't you understand this yet? This is simple shit." And he had like a NASA training video in his back office, and we were all joking that he was a NASA scientist, and he might have been like Paperclip or MK, something like that.
Had a bit of a German accent.
But he didn't really have a German accent, but he had like the classic like crazy scientist vibe to him, but he was also just the most gentle guy ever. So I loved him so much. But one of his favorite things to say was, "The future is lasers and magnetics."
Okay.
And that is exactly what the fusion reactor uses, is extremely powerful magnetic fields and extremely powerful lasers directed in a certain way to hold that energy in place. And I just laughed my ass off when I saw that research. I went, no way.
Yeah.
Well, no, that's fusion reactors. That's
right.
Fusion reactors.
That's
Thorium
fusion.
is different. Thorium is heating up a salt-based mixture to a certain temperature where it becomes like liquid lava, basically. And there's a way to sustain its energy supply while at the same time gaining way more energy out of it.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, see, the only thing I don't like about this, I don't like finding out that China's doing it instead of America.
Well, I can't think of, there was a government official from America that went to China, and he looked at what Wuhan and all these different cities where they're basically turning themselves into metropolis-sized factories.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, dude, China is way ahead of us in.
They are.
I
can't remember who I was talking to, but I was talking to somebody in the last few months who has some tech company or something, and they were like, man, China is so America wants, the American government wants you to believe that China is 10% ahead. He's like, no. He's like, they're
no.
Way
but
far
then
ahead with
have you also seen the ghost ghost
cities? Yep.
And how they fall apart and how shittily they were made?
Oh yeah.
There's a vast dichotomy of information coming out of China that I mean,
look, there's a big conspiracy that they lie about their population.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
There's a whole
every single data point that we have coming out of China, we can't personally verify. It's like I can't prove that to bring up Pilot Dave, I can't prove that the Earth is round without just using basic data points that we can understand, but I can't see the curvature of the Earth from sitting where I am at 6 feet tall.
Right.
But I believe that the Earth is round because physics and so much of our science just would make no sense, and there would have to be so many people in on the plot
Yes.
You know, like it. It makes no sense. That's why you look at flat Earth theory, and it wasn't dispersion. What was the term that Pilot Dave used? Like, once you don't understand this word, the conversation's over.
P maybe, I don't remember, but yeah, in general, the flat Earth. It's the thing is I've never talked to a flat Earth person, and I go, this person seems very smart to me. Like on a very first order kind of thing. I'm never
when
like,
it first came out,
seems like a genius.
Yeah, when it first came out, it was just a bunch of different, like, we can't prove this, therefore the Earth is flat. We can't prove this, therefore the Earth is flat. And then these people like spend like $100,000 building their own hot Earth balloon or like hot air balloon or something like that. And they're like,
whole things.
Maybe
nonsense.
I was wrong.
Yeah. Jacob, I gotta let you go. I got so many callers. Wait.
Oh man. You. Okay. One last thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
About
go ahead.
Can you even put a price on how much Bitcoin and random things that you've purchased? Because I personally lost quite a bit in Bitcoin and Ethereum myself. I can tell you that quick story.
I never was like I know I have friends who were like buying drugs or they were gambling. I never,
right.
I never did any of that. So I mean, I almost wish I was, so that I could have maybe been like, you know what, I'll just stash some of this shit away. But no, I never was in on it when it was like in the Wild West kind of days.
But I want to say that you've talked about, like, in your other podcasts and stuff, that you've lost a substantial amount in potential earnings in your history of digital currencies and prospective buys and stuff like that.
Oh sure.
Can you even put a price on that? Is it in the 100,000 or?
I don't know. I don't want to think about it.
You don't want to think about that. I wouldn't want to think about that either.
I don't think about it. I don't want to think about it. I don't.
Exactly.
There's no crying in the casino, and there's no looking backwards, only forwards.
See, I bought a third of a Bitcoin when it was like maybe $4,000, and then I bought like 5 Ethereum when it was maybe 150.
Okay.
And then I had it on an exchange called Bitrex.
Okay.
Which, bad idea. I should have put it into cold storage the moment I bought it, because I just literally just watched the prices go up and down and up and down and just skyrocket and like quintuple, pentuple, et cetera. Yeah. And I was sitting there going like, oh man, I'm sitting on all this digital currency and I'm just watching my account go up. This is awesome. Well, guess what? I had, like, back when I was living, I had moved in with my parents for a while just to like make money, work 3 jobs, sell drugs on the side without them knowing. Sure. Like I was bawling. I had so much extra cash. I was like, okay, I'll buy a bunch of silver and gold, and then I'll put the rest into Bitcoin and Ethereum. And I was just racking up the dough with the digital currencies. And I had my account referenced to my parents' location. Mm-hmm. And I had moved away well beyond then, and I was just watching the prices escalate back and forth. And I was like, oh man, Bitcoin's almost 100K. This is looking good for me. And then my parents were like, oh, hey, by the way, we got this letter in the mail from this random Bitrex company. It's addressed to you. I don't know what this is. We got it a few months back. I don't know. Here you go.
What, they got hacked?
And then I opened the letter, and it said that Bitrex is actually closing down as a exchange, and that if I don't talk to them from 2 weeks before I even got the letter from my parents, that my account is just going to be distributed to the Minnesota State Fund.
Oh my God.
I went, what is this letter? What are you talking about? Oh my God. I opened the letter and I read it, and my heart just fell like 6 feet below my shoes. It fell like further
Jacob,
than my
no crying in the casino. Those are the rules. No crying in the casino. All right, I gotta let you go, man. But that sucks.
Thank you so much, man. You have a great day.
All right, later. Jacob, everybody. Yeah, I mean, his joy is just infectious when he tells us about all the money he lost. Howling Labubu says, do you think the U.S. government is turning against Israel now? The groypers seem to be in line with Mark Levin these days with attacking bans. Yeah, this whole dynamic is getting bizarre. Dylan Farnham says Pokemon card Chad's 1, Danny's usually 0. I will say, though, some of my best investments have been sports cards only because, like, they're not liquid enough. There's like enough friction with getting rid of them, but then they are like physical, tangible, where either someone needs to steal them or your house needs to burn down. So there is some element similar to like gold and silver where you just have to, like, I just have this, and it's not like on some shady exchange. I just have them in a safe deposit box or in my house or whatever. So there is some element. It's almost similar, like when you buy any sort of hard assets and it's like a pain in the ass to sell them. It's almost like a good thing, oddly. The Spire 2K says, did you see Tobuscus' new song? No, I didn't. But he called in a couple of weeks ago, but he hasn't called back. Oh yeah, the U.S. government turning against Israel now. I don't think there are some things that seem like it. Mark Levin he's insane. I don't know who listens to him who's under the age of 70. But, yeah, I don't know. I mean, someone retweeted a JD Vance tweet from post October 7th, where he's basically like, this is horrible and I can't believe they're using weapons we gave them. But he's talking about Palestine using the weapons that America gave them. Everything's just topsy-turvy now. I think it would be in everybody's interest that the U.S. and Israel are not joined at the hip. They should stop giving them aid. The main thing with that I've always thought with the aid is Israel doesn't even need it. Like, they have their GDP is like $700 billion a year or something. What do they need $4 billion for? What do you need $1 billion for? But you know what I mean? Like, well, what do they even need it for? Just get rid of it. Dylan says, I meant to say the $300 billion being given to Iran could go back to Russia through trade and possibly end the Ukraine war. It would solve all of Trump's problems. I believe from what I've read, the $300 billion isn't actually coming from the U.S. It's like some Arab nation consortium. Maybe some portion of it is coming from the United States. Also, whatever happened with like the Gaza Reconstruction Fund? The United States literally is just like, here's some money, insane sums. Dylan also says 2009 USA gave the tech to China to develop 1 year after the record high oil prices of 2008. I forgot to mention that. We did this on purpose. Yeah, it sounds kind of like COVID, doesn't it? All right. The phone lines are closed, everybody. We're going to take some more calls. I'll get to all of you. We'll wrap this up at 9:30, and then I'm going to go home. We got from the Patreon, NotMatt, a.k.a. Yes Matt.
No, there's also fake Matt.
There's a fake Matt. Yeah, that's right. Good point. What's up?
There's some motherfucker named Matt. He needs to change his name.
Hey, man, we've had 3 Jacobs on the show, so at least you're not named Jacob.
Fair. One of them needs to be not Jacob.
Right. Good point. But then who would what would the third one be? There would be Jacob,
fake
not Jacob.
Jacob.
No, Jacob, Jake, not Jacob, or not Jake. So we have 4 options.
Yeah.
All right, I like it.
Yeah.
What's that?
I'll pick a little issue with what you just said about Israel aid.
Yeah.
Israel, like, funds are fungible, but Israel aid isn't just monetary. We have the 5th Fleet parked in Bahrain. We have ships in the Mediterranean. Like, we're not just giving them cash. We're shooting down drones and missiles.
Oh, yeah, I don't even.
Look at munition depletion.
Yeah.
We've shot more of ours than they've shot of theirs, defending them from Lebanon and Iran.
I wasn't even factoring that. Like, I don't know. Like, as far as I understand, the $3.8 billion in aid is basically like can be used to purchase U.S. From U.S. defense contractors, like, goods, I guess. I don't even know if that factors into what you're talking about. Maybe like, is that part of the 3.8 billion or is that separate?
No, the 3.8 billion is like a cash grant. It's part of the money we give as aid to countries.
Right, but with
the military
what I'm saying is it has to be spent.
Kind. Oh, yeah, supposedly it has to be spent, but like there are a lot of like escape clauses that I've read about where they're allowed to do stuff that no other country is with the aid in terms of like financial freedom.
Sure. Yeah.
But that's just cash. Like
Yeah.
I'm talking about military aid in kind.
Right.
And, you know, the effective defense of that country in terms of, you know, using munitions that are, you know, that have a U.S. flag on it, not an Israeli flag on it.
Right.
And that costs a lot of money.
Yeah.
But that's never added to the bill. It's a nice little, I actually think the $ Israeli aid is a nice little red herring that the Tim Pools of the world can point to and just go, yeah, you fucking idiot. We only gave them 3.8. That's a drop in the bucket compared to Medicare and Medicaid. You're obsessed with Israel. And it's like, well, we have the Fifth Fleet parked in the Middle East for Saudi Arabia and Israel. We have ships in the Mediterranean to like protect the Levant.
Sure.
Like,
now
that's not immaterial.
No, that's certainly not immaterial. Now, would there, and you know, this is kind of more just like a devil's advocate thing here. And I obviously understand before I'm going to say this that everything that happened with the Strait of Hormuz was predicated on the fact that America and Israel attacked them to begin with. But does this change like the thought process on policing that part of the world when you know now that Iran has this kind of leverage on like global energy like prices? You know what I mean?
I think it does because it's not even the leverage. It's the bell that can't be unrung. It's like, you know, some guy's got a wiffle ball bat and you don't want to get hit with the wiffle ball bat, but once you get hit with it, you realize, no, it doesn't really hurt that bad. I'm back in the fight.
Yeah.
And then the wiffle ball bat ceases to be a weapon, and then now you have to step up. So it's like we effectively have lost this kind of, you know, hidden, or I guess it was a sort of Damocles, I guess is what we could call it, hanging over the neck of Iran, where they're like, yeah, let's not agitate. And then the agitation happens against them, and they go, shut it down. And then they're like, maybe it's actually not so bad. Maybe we can withstand this.
Well, they clearly can withstand it. Are you talking about Iran or the United States?
Iran. They can withstand it because they've been living in those conditions for a long time. Whereas to the U.S. people, we are the world empire, effectively. Americans, the whole point of being, or the whole reason for being able to do the empire building is that the U.S. people have lived just fat, happy, and retarded for the longest time.
Yeah.
And now that you're starting to make stuff cost more, they're like, whoa, what's going on?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, I do wonder if the U.S. is almost now like more beholden to have like this presence in the Middle East, because like what stops Iran now from just being like just using the Strait of Hormuz for everything? They're just like, yeah, we want this, and the U.S. is like, no, and they go, all right, we're
perception.
But that's what I'm saying.
Perception. It's the same thing as Gaza. Hamas attacks. Israel kills 80,000 people, and the perception is the weapon. The U.S. look at U.S. perception after 9/11. Everyone in the world, Putin called George Bush and said, "Whatever you need, we got you."
Yeah.
After 5 years of Iraq and Afghanistan, the world was like, "Man, we hate America."
Oh yeah.
People would go to other countries and pretend not to be American.
Oh yeah, I remember that. I remember meeting many Americans in Southeast Asia who had Canada flags on their backpacks.
It really is just perception. And so the reason that people aren't mad at Iran right now, well, the general world isn't mad at them for shutting down the strait, is because they were attacked first.
Right.
They were aggressed against.
Yeah.
And their reaction is, in a sense, justified.
Mm-hmm. I mean, they was justified.
I mean, it's politics 101. And like what you're seeing is the neocon class in America is just stupid. It's the curse of the third generation.
It is almost crazy to think because,
Like,
we talk about conspiracies and everything and false flags, and you would assume that the U.S. would just be like, why wouldn't they do a false flag so they could have a pretext to go do the shit in Iran?
Oh,
Like, are they getting lazy?
Look at Laura. No, I just think they're getting stupid. Look at, like, if they did a false flag, everyone in America would go, yeah, of course it's Israel.
Yeah.
Like, they're like,
maybe.
cui bono. Like, that's,
Right.
like, even Laura Loomer, she's like, it'd be a shame if another 9/11 were to happen. Everyone's like, are you threatening terrorism?
Right. I mean,
people are immune to it now.
I mean, I think
not
that's
the
kind
boomers,
of
but they're always
how
stupid.
you read that. Like, I think her probably base would be like, she's implying that like it's going to be a Muslim 9/11, obviously not like the Jews or Israel doing it. And then if you're on the other side of that coin, you're like, no, obviously she's implying. I think you could read that both ways, but I'm like, why not even, do the false flag and then just be like, yeah, but obviously some portion of people would be like, obviously it's bullshit. But then at least you get like
100%.
the kind of like the meaty middle of the country who like doesn't question a lot of stuff and just goes, oh yeah, they hate our freedom and I guess we got to go bomb the shit out of them.
If you really wanted like a good false flag, you'd have like Malaysian terrorists do it, like Al Qaeda in Malaysia.
Yeah, or like
because then you have a Muslim tie from a country that was impacted by gas prices spiking and oil shortages, but no direct ties to Israel or Iran.
Yeah, I'm talking about this even
anti-Muslim frenzy.
Yeah, but I'm talking about pre the first bombings in February. Like, just do something.
Oh, because then no one would have bought it.
Yeah,
no one would have bought it.
I guess.
What's the reason?
I know.
Even with the Trump assassination.
Right. That is true. Yeah, I guess there is half the country who was like...
They're like, oh, there was an Iranian guy who was going to assassinate Trump. And then you actually look into it. It's like, oh, he's just another, like, semi-retarded Muslim guy that the FBI tricked into doing it.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
But see,
it's my bias here.
No, so I will say there is a little bit of your bias here because I think you actually like take the time to look into this stuff. I do think if you ask the average person, like the average Trump supporter, and you're like, yeah, it's some retarded Iranian guy who they tricked, they're like, what? No, all I know is there's an Iranian guy. They don't dig deep into this stuff. They just go, yep, I heard on Fox News, Iranian guy tried to kill Trump. Like, that's that. Like, that's all I need to hear.
Yeah. I suppose.
Yeah,
so some of the lower intelligence or less well-read people I like, they have a disposition to dislike Israel and distrust Israel now. So
yeah,
I think it'd be a toss-up.
Yeah. We always talk about like everything's people are always just like everything's a false flag, and they go, why don't they just do one here? I don't know.
No, I don't even think it has to be a false flag. I think it can be an ignorance of a situation spinning up.
Or
like
not
if
even
you're
you could
sharing
do like,
intelligence,
you could do a cyber attack,
like
fake cyber attack.
Oh no, I'm more so saying you haven't like X country has intelligence that Y country doesn't have about a terrorist attack in Y country.
Yeah.
If they don't share that intelligence, the attack will proceed.
Right.
So all you have to do is look the other way.
Yes. Yeah.
So that's that. The other thing I wanted to say is that the thing about the Chinese being the only ones working on thorium salt reactors is not true. Bill Gates has a thorium salt reactor research project in Wyoming right now.
Good old Billy, huh? Of course he does.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it?
And the thing about thorium salt reactors
as far along as the Chinese?
I think they're a great market. Well, they're a great market to sell because thorium salt, once it's spun up and the breeding cycle is completed, you can utilize it, but you can't start it without another nuclear process. I think generally they use like uranium to do it, but it's inert as far as like nuclear isotopes in its general state. So I think that's like there's a good market where like the 5 permanent member nations of the Security Council who are legally allowed to have a fuel cycle and weapons, they could sell this stuff like hotcakes to countries that don't.
Interesting. Yeah, the U.S. does not have any operating commercial thorium.
We don't have any. There's only one operating in the world right now. It's in China. There's one being researched and worked on in the Netherlands, I believe. There's another one being built in China, and then I think it is because they're Gen 4. They're harder to melt down because they're generally low pressure, high heat. And from what I understand, the shutdown mechanisms on them, like the emergency controls, are much easier to implement. And they're lower power generation than like the Gen 2, Gen 3 ones.
Gotcha. Yeah, I never heard of this before. I guess that's where we're
Should
going.
even get a nuclear scientist on.
Yeah. It's crazy because everybody always hated nuclear forever, right? It was such a...
Well, it's because everyone was propagandized by 3 Mile Island, and they assumed that every nuclear reactor is the same.
It was just like Chernobyl, 3 Mile Island.
I believe that was a Gen 1.
Yeah.
But those are ancient technologies.
Right.
And then the real problem in the Soviet Union wasn't the nuclear reactor. It was that it was a Soviet system where no one wanted to be the one to say, whoops, we fucked up, because they're going to lose their head. And then it led to basically a cascading effect.
Yeah.
So,
look
at 3 Mile Island. 3 Mile Island, there wasn't a ton of deaths.
There wasn't.
Relatively fine.
Yeah. And it's fine now, I imagine? Like the ground there and all that stuff?
I imagine.
Yeah. Where's this?
Yeah, it's I haven't read up on nuclear engineering in a while, but from what I understand, it's how you can make a non-radiation spreading nuclear warhead. Like some of the lower yield nuclear weapons that are like tipped on artillery shells. It's how you can use them, like depleted uranium, where it just causes the detonation but won't like kick radiation into the wind.
Right.
Like there's lots of like nuance to it, but people generally just hear nuclear and they think Hiroshima, Nagasaki, they think Tsar Bomba, they think 3 Mile Island and Chernobyl, and then the one in Japan, Fukushima.
Right. Yeah. Oh yeah, I guess there's Fukushima, and that was.
But once again, Fukushima was built on a fault line. They're susceptible to tsunamis. It went as well as it could have, and it was shut down as fast as it could be.
Right. Actually, this is from 2 years
ago.
And because
Japan is a healthy society.
Yeah, they're reopening 3 Mile Island.
Yeah. So I think the older generation was just propagandized by, mutually assured destruction, by the duck and cover videos, shit like that.
Right.
And so
just everything
you don't really have that with this generation.
That's true. Yeah, there's just like everything nuclear bad. Now it's just gonna be like, hey, we just have to do this, and it's trust us, it'll be fine.
For better or worse, though, because now what I'm seeing is a lot of people not having that wariness to go to hot war with one of the 5 permanent member nations that have nuclear weapons.
Yeah.
Where they're like, they have nuclear weapons. And they're like, so?
That's true.
Like, no, you don't understand. This is civilization ending.
Mm-hmm.
That's why the whole situation with Kashmir is so sketchy, and why all the India-China stuff, it's funny. They're beating each other with sticks, but it's like, no, if this escalates, that could be civilization ending.
Right, yeah. You want them to
and it's not because
stay at sticks.
And it's not because of nuclear dust. It's because because the world is a fragile ecosystem with just-in-time supply chains, if you hit enough of those supply chains, the entire system collapses. Look at Hormuz.
Right.
Shut it down for a couple months. The entire world economy is about to seize up.
Yeah.
So if you had a nuclear exchange between countries, you could, destroy enough farmland, stop fertilizer supply chain.
Wouldn't you have like nuclear winters in places where there's like you don't see the sun?
No. Even if you didn't use a weapon that would yield a nuclear winter, yes, that is disaster scenario. People get in their bunkers. That's Fallout games. Is that? I'm talking like nuclear warheads exchanged in a non-radioactive yield capacity. you could still just destroy enough of that supply chain that there's mass famine. But if I also wanted to gloat about SpaceX stocks a little bit.
Yeah.
What happened to the moon?
Got hammered today.
Yeah, 2-week lockup. 2-week lockup's starting to open up right about now, and people are not feeling the to the moon anymore. And that is with
the
a
moon
5%.
man.
That's what.
Yeah, what was it, down 15%?
That's a 5% share release too.
Yeah.
So what happens when more shares flood the market?
Oh, it's gonna. I know that they're talking about like there's all this.
Sell.
Yeah, Abdul. I know that they're talking about all these like forced like it's going to be included in indexes and stuff, and they'll be forced buying. But I can't imagine that that'll be enough to. Like it'll need some sort of meme like gamma squeeze kind of GameStop scenario in order for it to realistically
100%. And
like for it to be like over $200 anytime soon. But who knows?
And any firms that are actually trading on like beta and gamma measurements are like HFT algo firms, and they're making money on the arbitrage between pricing squeezes. Like,
right. Yeah.
They don't give a fuck if it's going up or down because they're trading both ways. Like that's
that's exactly. All right, Matt, I gotta go.
Depressing.
Yeah.
There you go, man.
Later, everybody. Not Matt, to be correct. All right, 2 more calls. It's getting to that time where I'm about to piss my pants. Drank too much water. I'm trying to drink more water. Nobody tells you that if you try and drink more water, you have to piss all the time, which stinks. I'm like, it really makes me, I go, do I actually need to drink this much water? Can I just drink when I'm thirsty? And that's it. All right, well, this caller is not picking up. Oh, the piss is hitting me. All right, well, we have 2 more callers here. Neither of them. Oh, here we go. Brent, are you there?
Hey, Danny, how you doing, buddy?
Very well. You're on Low Value Mail. How's it going? Oh, of course.
Oh, not too bad.
Sorry.
Yeah, one, like, there's a bunch of different types of nukes, as like the last guy was talking about.
Yeah.
And some are rated for different things. So high explosive, like nukes, they just want to blow shit up. Others are actually dirty nukes, so there's more radiation involved. Others are EMP-based nukes, and so that's good if you want to launch it up into the atmosphere and take out satellites and shit.
Gotcha.
Lots of different types of nukes. So, and also yield, explosion, that can all be calibrated kind of after the fact. So it just depends.
So if you're a nuclear country, like you're one of those, countries that's allowed to have nukes, are you allowed to have all different types of nukes? Like, does America have every type of nuke you just described?
Well, America is pretty much like the founder of nukes, and so we have pretty much all the good ones. Ones we need.
Does Pakistan, like, do they have EMP nukes and the dirty ones and all these different kinds?
I would really doubt that, and also I don't believe they have intercontinental ballistic missiles. I'd have to double check on that, but I don't believe they have those. So they might be able to like launch it from a plane, but also how are you going to get to America?
Right.
And India, I think, does have ICBMs, so they could do that. And Russia certainly does, and as well as China. North Korea, by the way, they don't have ICBMs. They have we can launch it 400 yards and then it'll crash into the ocean. So they're kind of pieces of shit. They still have nukes.
That's their whole flex. Their whole flex is they just launch them into the ocean just to scare Japan.
To scare South Korea, but yeah,
and
I guess
Korea.
Japan, they're close.
Yeah, well, sorry, it's in the Japanese sea or whatever they always fire them into.
Yeah, and also North Korea, their armaments are back into the 50s. So a lot of people say that North Korea has the biggest navy in the world, but those are literally just piece of shit boats from the 50s.
Right,
so they're garbage.
Does anybody say that? Is it North Korea who says that they have the largest navy in the world?
Yes, and technically they do.
Oh, just by
because they have the most votes. Mm-hmm.
Right, but yeah, I can't imagine they have tons of aircraft carriers.
Yeah, they have exactly 0.
Okay, that sounds about right.
And as far as munitions involved, nothing can touch the U.S. nothing can. Like, we can destroy the entire world 10 times over and not even give a shit. The only biggest component or enemy might be Russia or China. And even then, it's kind of a lose-lose situation, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, which is kind of, I guess, what you want. It's just nobody's incentivized to use this stuff.
Yeah, that going back to what I originally called was because Fauci, and I don't know if you covered this before, but he's definitely not going to see prison.
No,
he
has a pardon. Yeah, he's got a blanket pardon, right? Well,
and
that was the
before,
whole
even
Tulsi
if like the
Gabbard
auto
thing.
pen was redacted.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, and she dropped that the last day at the last minute because I'm guessing she wasn't supposed to, but regardless, she did. So God bless her.
Right.
But
See, part of me thinks
even
it's
if he
just
does
a distraction, just to be like, "Hey, everybody, go look over here."
Well, I don't know because she's kind of like a long-term Democrat who's kind of waking up, but at the same time she's leaving. So like, I'll just do what I can.
Go read the article. Go read the article about the cult she's in. It's pretty weird. There's a Washington Post article that she's in this like Hare Krishna cult.
No. Well, are they hot?
Hot in what way? Like
like sexually? Cause,
there probably is
dancing around.
Oh yeah. There probably is. There's definitely, if you read the article, there's like lots of sexual abuse, physical abuse. But apparently, she gets her like the article is saying like she gets a lot of her policy ideas from this cult leader guy. Like he like has been telling her stuff to do, like bills to put forth and like all this shit. It's pretty crazy.
Wow. I mean, I actually kind of respect her more. I mean, it takes a lot of courage to join a cult.
Yeah, well, it's her parents joined the cult, so she was kind of just like brought up in it. But it's this. I'll post, and again, there might be some horse shit in here, but there are some things where you go, there's certain things in the article where you go, that's interesting. I posted it in the chat here if anybody wants to read it. It's behind a paywall though.
A couple more things. For one, I did work for SpaceX. I used to build the super heavy boosters in a
Did you get some stock?
Yeah, $5,000 sign-on bonus for the stock.
But $5,000 in shares. What year?
Yeah, that was 2023 or 2022.
Oh, okay.
I forget.
Oh, so you weren't like one of those 2005 guys who were like.
No, but I met a couple of them and they were smart. They were actually planning on it. They're like, yeah, once this goes public, we're going to be fucking rich.
Oh,
and also, they allowed you to buy into the company. So every year you had an option to like, oh yeah, we're paying you this much, but you want to buy in? And if you did, I know some boys that are they're doing well.
Oh, I bet. Well, there's the one guy who's like a welder or something. There was an article about this Mexican guy. He's like a welder. And he was like rich as shit now.
Yeah, I think he made like $855,000, or if he sold, who knows?
Yeah.
But he was also a Mexican person, so I think he got let go when they became a government contractor.
Oh.
Because you can't have foreign nationals who aren't properly vetted.
Right,
so that's probably why he ended his term there. But crop circles, by the way, they have gone away, and most of them are bullshit. However, there are some that are really fucking fascinating, where like literally like the wheat itself is like woven together, and we're talking about like thousands to tens of thousands of like wheat strands are woven together, and also interesting. So like interesting like energy patterns that come from that.
Yeah,
and so
I just wonder.
A little bit more
why,
than just with ropes and boards.
Yeah, because I saw the ropes and board stuff, but I wonder just like why did they just go away? It seemed like a specifically like 80s, 90s phenomenon.
Well, I don't know. I have no idea, but officially, I have no idea if aliens exist or not. I think they do, but also it seems like they're fucking with us in different ways. So.
Yeah, possibly. All right, Brent, anything else?
No, sir. That's it. Thanks for taking my call.
Good talking to you. Brent, everybody. All right, we are going to go to our last caller of the night. We have Andy. Sorry, I unmuted him, and then he didn't unmute himself. So then I unmuted Brent, and then in classic fashion, he then unmuted himself.
Hello.
Andy. Last caller of the night.
Boss, I've been on the phone for like 2 hours, but that's okay.
Well, yeah. Sign up for the Patreon. You get
That's
priority.
okay, dude.
You get priority pickup.
Guess what? I'm on the Patreon for your boys cast. Ask Ryan for one of the shekels.
Oh, okay. Doesn't work that way.
Okay. Well, I'm sorry, dude.
It's all good. It's all good. Thank you for hanging on though.
Yeah, I was going to talk about like Bitcoin and Ethereum too.
Sure.
I was telling people, I'm like, it's going to skyrocket right before the UFC fight. I'm like, if you have money to throw, and I'm like, okay.
I mean, I will say that it's certainly not lost on me that us doing that Bitcoin conference was kind of at least a short-term top.
Yeah. I was wondering then, like, if it would be better to go that way than getting a certificate of deposit from like a bank, like at 2.5%.
Would it be better to buy Bitcoin? I mean, Bitcoin certificate of deposit is, I mean, first off, you could buy like bonds right now that pay 5% annually, like 10-year bonds anyways. I don't know what the shorter term ones are. I mean, Bitcoin is insanely volatile. And again, you know, depends how much you're like a believer in Bitcoin. Like there's absolutely no, like, look, Ethereum, let me pull it. Ethereum is literally at the same price it was 8 years ago.
Damn.
Yes. If you bought Ethereum in January of 2018, let me look here, the January 18 high, now assuming you bought the high, but the January 18 high was 1420. It's at 1720. So you're up 20%, not nothing. Not great though. If you go look at the S&P 500 in the same time frame, you are looking at a gain of, what are we looking at here? 2,800. It's tripled.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you want to throw 1% of your net worth in Bitcoin, go ahead. Like, do I really see it outperforming the S&P 500 over the next 20 years? Probably not. I mean, it's so behind right now. Like, in order for it to just catch up to the S&P 500 from in the last, this would be Ethereum, not Bitcoin. In the last, like, it would literally need to be, I guess it would only, you know what? It would only need to be 4,400 and change, which is what it was at this time last year. It could probably,
and then you have to get fees every time you like exchange it, right?
Yeah, like, you know what? It's not that crazy to be like Ethereum. Look, there's certainly a scenario where Ethereum could be $10,000, and it, you know, we could be having the same conversation in 12 months from now, and Ethereum actually outperformed the S&P 500. It's just so volatile. Bitcoin, what's Bitcoin? Bitcoin January. So Bitcoin's way outperformed the S&P 500.
Yeah.
January 18, Bitcoin was, let's see here. Oh, where's this? High of 17,000. So it's so Bitcoin's in that same time period, Bitcoin's outperformed the S&P 500. It's gone up about 4 times, even more. No, about 4 times. So, I mean, yeah, it's, I don't know.
I don't make much money. I live in Illinois, but I make minimum wage, but that's like the 3rd highest minimum wage.
Okay.
And, so I also like not working much because then the government helps me with, my Medicare because I have epilepsy.
Gotcha. Yep.
Don't you hate how the government rewards you for working less?
Yeah, they do sometimes disincentivize you or incentivize you, depending on how you look at it. Yeah, I mean, look, Bitcoin is, I mean, I don't even want to say anything. Like, who knows what it could do? Bitcoin, if it doesn't, like, I'll personally, I buy Bitcoin like $10 worth every day. I just dollar cost average. I just buy $10 every day. Just because I don't know what it's going to do. I have no clue. Like, again, who knows? Like, it probably will go up.
And then if it goes down, you don't have to touch it. You can just wait again.
Correct. But there's a opportunity cost here, right? Where, like, you could be buying the S&P 500 this entire time. Like, the whole point is you want this to, like, the S&P 500 is kind of the benchmark here where you compare everything against it. So you want it to, at least over some period of time, outperform it. If in 20 years, if you bought Bitcoin now and it's in 20 years from now, it didn't do as well as the S&P 500, then you're like, I should have bought the S&P 500. That's just the kind of easy thing to do. And the S&P 500 are companies that actually make money. Like, you know, you're buying like Apple and just all these, you know, the 500 top companies in the United States. You're literally betting on America, essentially. Like, it's crazy because investing, everybody makes it out to be like it's this super difficult, complex thing. It's actually the easiest thing. You just buy the S&P 500 and it just goes up. Like, the only thing that could, you just like, unless you are like, America is a failed state, you know, it's the end of the empire. This whole thing's is wrapping up. It's over. Like, if you want to be that person, then I guess, maybe Bitcoin's for you. But if you just think that, like, America's doing well, it's going to continue to do well. I mean, I can tell you in the last 80 years, there's been a lot of doom and gloomers, I'm sure, who are like, this is it. Great financial crisis, you know, Black Monday, all that shit. People are just like, it's over. And it's just like, you look at it, the chart of it for the last 80 years, it's just like, it's just like a blip. It always rebounds because you're just betting on America. So it's like, if you are bullish on the country of America, you just buy the S&P 500. You're
and I mean,
you know,
you left
pays
Canada
dividends.
to go for America.
Yeah, but
you
it's
believe
like,
in America,
right? But it's just like, I mean, the thing is, you don't even need to live in America to bet on America. You know, you don't have to.
That's true.
Right? You can.
Do not redeem.
You're not exactly right. But so, if you like America, if you're bullish on America, you can just buy the S&P 500. Maybe you can buy half. You put half of your money in the S&P 500, half of it in the Nasdaq, to have some more like tech, I guess. But who knows with Bitcoin? It's so volatile. The problem with Bitcoin, which fucks over most people, is that it's totally normal for it to just drop 50%. And it does it all the time. So it's like, can you stomach that? Because a lot of, like, you probably won't. You'll in your lifetime, you probably will see a short-term drop in the S&P 500 of 50%, but you're not going to see one every like 3 years, like Bitcoin does. Like, Bitcoin does it every 3 or 4 years. It just drops 50%. It's like, and if you've never dealt with something like that, it's not like, if you have all your money and just all of a sudden all your money's worth half as much, it's like, it's psychologically difficult. And it takes a very specific type of person to be able to deal with that. Like, you know, you got to be like a real hodler.
Right. I'm in a waiting period right now because I live with my 96-year-old grandmother, and her house has been, like, her property tax has been frozen for 60 years. So she basically pays almost nothing for property taxes.
That's pretty awesome.
And she has a ton of investments, and that's on my dad's side. Now, on my mom's side, she owns 4 different houses, and the house I grew up in, 2 Airbnbs, and then 1 apartment house with 3 different units.
This is your 96-year-old grandmother owns all of these?
No, my mom owns the 4 houses,
Gotcha.
but then my grandmother, her house is the 60-year property tax. So my mom is like, "Oh, you have everything planned out for you." I'm like, "Okay."
I mean,
so it's like my retirement's already planned.
Yeah, you're retired. You are like, barring you doing something absolutely idiotic, you sound, unless you have a massive family, like, sounds like you're pretty set.
No, I just have a brother.
Yeah, so it sounds like it sounds like you're pretty set. I mean,
I just don't want to feel like a waiter.
Like you're waiting for your, like, in terms of your parents. Yeah. I mean, look, you can do your thing. It's just, I mean, look, the way science and all that stuff's going is like all these people are probably going to live pretty long. So I wouldn't, and obviously genetically, if your grandmother is 96 years old, you can probably bank on,
and then her mom lived, my grandmother's mom lived past 100, and my grandmother's still driving and she does everything.
There you go. So, this might be a very, unless you get like an early inheritance. So I would still focus on yourself. I mean, look, there's so many people who absolutely like do nothing with their fucking lives just because they know that there's some money coming, and they literally waste their lives. And
I'm working at a grocery store.
You're doing something, like whatever. You're working at a grocery store.
Yeah.
It's still something. Like
I'm working in the Chinese department.
That's fine.
I get to, whenever I see a Muslim, I'm like, you want the black pepper pork?
Like, whatever. That's all good. Like, you're working. Like, you're productive. You're like a productive member of society. You're not just sitting at home all day, wasting your life.
And the government's taking some Social Security, and there's some.
I mean,
401k.
Social Security, you're not even. Yeah, like that. All that stuff's cool. But if you're saying that there's 4 properties, assuming that you get 2 of them and your brother gets the other 2, like. But again, you could be like, how old are you?
I'm 34.
34. Like, you might not get this money until you're like 70.
Yeah.
Like you might legitimately be like 65 or 70 years old, which yes is retirement, and. By the time you're 70, the value of those 4 houses is going to be a fucking fortune. Like like that is going to be so much money. You're not even going to, but you still have 30 plus years. Like, you got to just do your own thing,
Yeah.
But it is nice. It's definitely, I'm sure it's nice that you just like, you're not stressing about retirement, but you're like, that's more than double your life away from that point.
Right. I'm thinking about like getting into welding and going to Snailbrook. You know what Snailbrook is?
I don't know what Snailbrook is. What is that?
It's Elon's little town he's trying to make for SpaceX people.
Do it. Do you have a girlfriend?
No.
So there's nothing holding you back. I mean, welders make good money if it's something that you feel like you would be good at. Go do it. Go be adventurous.
Yeah. But I'm with my 96-year-old grandmother.
Right. You're her like caregiver?
Basically.
Yeah.
It's a back and forth thing.
So, I mean, look, not to be negative Nancy over here, but that's okay. It's not going to, this isn't the next 10 years of your life probably, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It's probably like, I mean, look, my grandmother lived till she was 98. But she's not going to live till 105 probably. She might, but
I think she might.
Well, but you can go learn to be a welder in the meantime.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would go do that. That sounds like, I mean, fuck, we're going to need those. Any trade is a good idea. And I mean, if you have the time where you can do it, manage that with working, like, go do it. Why not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but what about the bonds and certificate of like deposit? Since those are like guarantees but low profit, right?
I would, if you're talking about investing money, and this is assuming that you're buying a bond, that's money that you're not going to touch because you don't like that money's locked up. So assuming this is money that you're like putting away, buy the S&P 500. Don't buy bonds. You're too young for bonds. Bonds are for old people who need like certainty.
Yeah.
You want to take a little bit of risk. It's not like high risk, but just like this is the best investment advice, which is, again, I don't do this on the Patreon thing. I'm literally gambling. But if anybody's like thinking of investing, even literally like if you have $50 a month or like anything, just like open a Robinhood account, buy the SPY, just do like $50 a month. You would be shocked at how quickly it can grow. Now the problem is like famously, like Warren Buffett, they say Warren Buffett made most of the money he ever made in his life after he was 70. Like, he's like has a $200 billion or whatever amount of money he made. Because the way compounding works is most of that money comes later. At first you're like, this is slow. It'll just, and this goes for anybody who's listening right now. This is maybe the best advice I can give any single person is at first you're like, I'm not making any money. This is slow, or it's like it's whatever. I'm making a couple bucks here and there. You just have to let compounding do its thing, reinvest the dividends, which I think you can just click a button and it'll just automatically reinvest the dividends that you get. Don't look at it. Maybe if you want to look at it once a year, you can look at it. You don't need to look at it every day.
Just look at it and jerk off to it.
You don't need to look at it every month. Just buy it, forget about it. And when you open that thing when you're 60 years old, you'll just be like, there's so much money in here. You'll be shocked at how much money there is in there.
Yeah.
But don't buy bonds. You're too young for that. That's shit for old people.
I'm pretty sure my grandmother has tons of them.
Yeah. For a 96-year-old, you don't want, like, if you're 96, you're like, yeah, I can't, like, if the market drops 15% this year, I'm fucked. Like, I won't be alive by the time it recovers. That makes sense.
Yeah.
But you will, you like, you know, by the time you retire, the market will have gone up. It'll have dipped huge. It'll go up. There'll be swings, but on a 25-year time frame or whatever, it's like, you don't care.
And the reason why my mom got so money is her dad owned a life insurance business, so he had a large policy on himself.
Oh, smart.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, sounds like you're set. Like, at least at some point down the road. But you're actually in a good position because, you know, like, imagine you just inherited all that money, like, today. What would you do?
I have no clue. Yeah.
Right? You would just be like, okay, I guess I sit at home all day. You're like, that's not life.
Yeah.
It's not. You don't want to do that. That's people get. I mean, people like a lot of people go and they literally get addicted to drugs because they're just like bored. I guess I'd do drugs now.
Yeah, I've stopped vaping like THC stuff. I'm like, it's too much money.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, you put that in the S&P 500. Before you know it, you'll be rich. But go do the welding thing.
Right.
I got to let you go. I got to wrap this up. But
all right, yeah.
I think you're good. Just buy the S&P 500. Don't buy bonds. That's stupid. You're too young for that. Don't look at it. Just bet on America. That's all you're doing. You're just betting on America.
Oh, bet on America.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Later.
All right. Thanks. I'll talk to you some other time.
Absolutely. Andy, everybody. All righty. That's been the show. Never forget, everybody. Bet on America. Dylan says, watch Filipinos give fighting spiders steroids. I have no idea. Thanks, Tapes, for the jewels. Appreciate you, buddy. All right, that's been the show. That's it. That's all we got. That's all we got until next week. I will keep people posted. I may have a thing tomorrow morning. I'm waiting to find out. I got to check my email. So it'll either be tomorrow or Wednesday morning. I'll let people know. Also, we don't even have any money, unfortunately. Whoops. I did a little too much gambling, unfortunately. So we have a bunch of options that are, I think some of them expire this week. I'm not sure. I think we have some, but all our money's locked up. It's all tied up in asset allocation, just like Tony Soprano. So it'll be more of me doing some educational stuff for me, mostly, of how I should approach this. Because there are a lot of intricacies when I have like a little bit of money and I'm trying to make it into a lot of money. It's not the same as investing. It's not investing. It's not financial advice. But anyways, I'll let everybody know in the group chat on the Patreon. Shout out to Gerard. Couldn't do this without him. Thank you very much. Iron Man says, Danny sent all our money to the fucking SPLC. No, I sent it to the ADL and I told you not to give it to me because I said I would, this was from the bathhouse. I said, if you give me any more money to save the bathhouse, it's going to the ADL. You guys didn't think I was going to do it. That's the difference. You didn't think I was going to do it. I'm a man of my word. I did it. The ADL, thanks all of you for your donations. They are not getting any of the Patreon money. That's it. Okay. Good night, everybody. I'll see you guys next week.
shit heroic. Empathic abilities, yeah, my face be also stoic. Bleep, blow up, nigga, that just means I'm working. They see me as a leader, so that's why I'm Captain Kirkin. These tracks from the stars, that much is for certain. You can feel this hit if you up or if you hurt. I'm raising my stock, not talking my feet in some Birkin. Number Johnny 5, got a fucking short circuit. Bring the track to life when I spit phenomenally. When I hit, she feel that shit in her abdominals. These rappers make me laugh like comic view, they comically. You know I got a ball out, I hit the track running just like Sonic do. They don't wanna turn on my light switch. Yeah. They was trying to get me on my hype shit. Yeah. They don't wanna turn on my light switch. Yeah. And they tried to down me on some KO type shit. Yeah. They don't wanna turn on my light switch. Yeah. Now we pulling up fresh on some flight shit. Ha. They don't wanna turn on my light switch. Yeah. They don't wanna turn on my light switch. They don't wanna turn on my light switch. Yeah. They was trying to get me on my hype shit. Yeah. They don't wanna turn on my light switch. Yeah. Then they tried to down me on some KO type shit. Yeah.